Yunwu and Longqingxi in the Cave of Death are not aware of Yao Keji's defection. Of course, even if I knew, it didn't seem like a big accident. Yunwu follows Long Qingxia, and they walk in the dark cave with the light of the torch in Long Qingxia's hand. That's it. Walking to a corner, Long Qingxia stops, and his voice is a little excited. Yunwu looked at this place, because it was dark and could not see the difference between this place and other places. I really don't know how Long Qingxia can distinguish the location here. Cloud Dance is thinking. Dragon Qing evil hands suddenly appear at 8 trigrams compass. 8 diagrams compass? Is there such a thing in this alien world? Cloud Dance pick eyebrow of thought for a while, of course, soon also put away. If we don't find the wrong place, this thing can take us out. Long Qingxia holds the compass in his palm and looks deep into the cave, as if his eyes can penetrate the thick ink-like darkness and see the end of the cave. The compass was extremely simple, so simple that the Cloud Dance felt simple. In addition to the basic direction signs and heavenly stems and earthly branches, there is nothing. What's more, these things look like who drew them temporarily. They are even a little crooked and difficult to identify. As for the material of the compass, it seems that it is impossible to say. In any case, it is just a piece of wood picked up by hand and cut out a rough shape with a knife. Yunwu just looked at the dragon, like a Taoist, walking around the corner with a compass, looking down from time to time. The posture is very professional. If it wasn't for such a situation in place, Yunwu would think that Longqingxi's sideline was feng shui. After a while, Long Qingxia seems to have finally determined his way out. He shouts to Yunwu, "Little thing, come here and follow me. No matter what you see for a while, don't pay attention to it. Just take it as if you didn't see it." Cloud Dance smells speech. Can't help looking at him one eye. When see his that pair of deep eyes of serious. In the heart how many also guess things may not be simple. He nodded seriously and followed him closely. But the next thing Long Qingxia did was to make Yunwu hesitant. Because Dragon Qing evil unexpectedly straight toward the inner wall of the cave rushed past. Only Cloud Dance a Lungshan Kung Fu. Dragon's foot has entered the cave wall, into the stone. Come on, little thing. Long Qingxia expected that she would be surprised, so he leaned forward and stretched out a hand to her. The Cloud Dance is to slow the moment that God comes, also no longer delay. Stretch out a hand to hold Long Qingxia's hand, borrow his run-up impulse, 2 people at the same time to the hard stone wall to bump up. Although we know that Long Qingxia won't do anything unreliable, Yunwu frowned subconsciously when he passed through the stone wall. When passing through the wall, Yunwu only felt as if he had been stuffed into a dense sponge. The whole person was squeezed into some deformation, but there was no pain. The big hand holding her hand pulled hard, and the fierce wind beat on her. Yunwu found that she had reached an open area from the closed and stuffy cave. It's just that this place really can't make people happy for the rest of their lives. In front of them is a flat square covering a vast area. Many tall trees are planted around the square. The trees close to each other surround the square, and form a natural barrier. Such a green place should make people feel comfortable. However, the huge warcraft bones that were made into specimens on the square had blood-red array patterns with horrible and strange feeling on the ground. Probably because of the array, the sky above the square is dark with a layer of blood, which makes people creepy. It's like a huge cemetery. After it's carefully arranged, it's sealed with the corpses of countless warcraft. Long time ago, like a sharp file, has worn away the skin, flesh and muscles of those warcraft, leaving only the polished white bone, which still stands here, never to see the sun. So it is. Long Qingxia looked at the vast square in front of him, as if he had understood something. What do you see? Since Yunwu entered the stone gate, he didn't know anything with his eyes black. He unconsciously depended on the dragon. I always thought that the people of the Beast Gate were not afraid of retribution. Unexpectedly, they were more afraid than anyone else. Dragon Qing evil hook up the corner of the lip, but there is no smile at the bottom of the eye. Cloud Dance has not had time to continue to ask Dragon Qing evil. 2 people at the same time notice behind a few can't check the sound. Yunwu and Longqingxi turn around for the first time, and the expected black mask doesn't appear. The man who came to them had a white face, a pair of red phoenix eyes slanting upward, with some sharp. The man was wearing a gorgeous emerald robe, which was embroidered with dense patterns similar to jade patterns. His clothes were gorgeous but not pompous, which only made him more outstanding. What attracts Yunwu's attention most is his eyes. This person is actually a two-color pupil. His left eye is blue and his right eye is as clear as gold. Seeing the hostility between Yunwu and them, the man said with a gentle smile, "Sorry, I haven't seen anyone here for a long time. It's a bit impolite. I'm Chong'an. What do you call me? Who are you?" Not only did Yunwu not relax because of his explanation, but he took a step sideways and stood shoulder to shoulder with Long Qingxi, in a defensive posture. People in the Beast Gate, whether they wear masks or not, have to guard against it. "I just live here, not here." With a smile, Chong'an's eyebrows were too sharp, and unconsciously brought out the temperament similar to that of the dragon. "Why do you live in such a place? It's a special guest." Long Qingxia looked back at the bones and didn't agree with him. "I don't want to live here if I can, but my home is too far away for me to go back." When Chong'an spoke, he lowered his eyelashes and cast a lonely shadow in the two-color pupil like a Persian cat. At that time, Yunwu had the illusion that this luxurious and precious man would cry the next second. "It's kind of weird." Long Qingxia looked up and down at Chong'an's clothes and asked him, "Do you want to say that you are imprisoned by the people of the Beast Gate?" "I have answered your question. Should you also answer me a question? How did you get here?" Chong'an did not answer Long Qingxia's words. He focused on the largest skeleton deep in the square. "If I say that we were captured by the people of the Beast Gate, do you believe it?" Long Qingxia's answer seems true or false, and Chong'an's 4 or 2,000 caddies. It can be said that no one will give up. Two equally arrogant men bumped into each other. Although they were both laughing, the atmosphere became more and more tense. Chong'an said with a smile, "Of course not. They won't put the people they've captured here because they don't dare." With these words, it can almost be concluded that he must not have been imprisoned here by the Beast Gate. On the contrary, it sounds more like the people of the Beast Gate, who are afraid of him. Dragon Qing evil mouth a hook, but without any smile ground cold voice way. "Since don't believe that don't ask." Chong'an looked at the dragon with a headache and frowned. But at last he focused on Yunwu. He stared at Yunwu and measured it in his eyes. At that moment, it was like a breeze blowing away the loneliness on Chong'an's face. The dragon's evil eyes are sharp. Chong'an felt the bad sight of Long Qingxia. He turned his eyes with a smile and looked at the dragon Qingxia again. He said with a smile, "Well, I'll ask the last question. Do you want to get out of here?" Chong'an's two-color pupil is shining with charming luster, and its thin and ruddy lips are slightly raised, like a nightmare that is good at tempting people. Dragon Qing evil slightly squints at Chong'an. The strong to the strong, just like a beast meets the same kind. Both the same kind and the opponent. At the first sight of Chong'an, Long Qingxia felt like this. Yunwu's eyes are slightly cold. It seems that Chong'an is not locked up. "What? After you ask, are you going to show us the way?" Cloud Dance cold hook mouth corner of the rhetorical question. "No, the road is up to you." The emerald halo appeared in Chong'an's hand. The halo was light in color. Yunwu only felt like a transparent jade. Chong'an throws the light mass in his hand into the mid-air. The gloomy and bloody sky is like meeting the gasoline of Mars, hula rolling up the red flame. The flame is like a greedy warcraft, galloping all the way to the distance, which burns the sky clean in the blink of an eye. After the bloody sky was burned, it was like a magic hand playing in the sky. The wrong hand sprinkled a large amount of brilliant sunshine, shining on the bloody and gloomy place. "Beat them and you can go out." Chong'an looks up at the sky, with an invisible struggle under his eyes. Under the white clouds, there are several white-boned winged birds hovering silently. Because the colors are too similar, when their shadows overlap with the clouds, people can't even distinguish their tracks. "You dare to break into the forbidden area of our Beast Gate. Today, I'll make atonement with your life." On the back of the biggest winged bird, an old masked man stood up. He looked down at Yunwu and others. Even from such a distance, Yunwu could feel the coldness of his eyes. Long Qingxia chuckled, almost provocative to the old man. "Since you want our life, you should come down and take it yourself." Along the way, she knew the man's temperament very well. He would never be a soft person, and occasionally he was quite arrogant. However, his physical condition is not suitable for hands-on. And the Chong'an around him, even if he is not an enemy, is definitely not a friend, but he suddenly helped them to break the game in the sky. What's his purpose? Yunwu has a lot of vigilance in his heart. However, when Yunwu looked to the place where Chong'an stood before, he found that there was no one beside her except Dragon. And the man? Cloud Dance frowns of to Longqing evil ask away. At this time, Longqingxia had a strange attitude, and suddenly whispered a few words to Yunwu. After hearing the words of Longqingxia, Yunwu was shocked. Longqingxia looked at the white-winged birds in the air lazily, and sighed. Faintly, his arrogance became stronger and stronger. Little thing, this beast gate is really fun. It seems that the 10,000 beast men on the white-bone-winged bird haven't seen Chong'an from the beginning. In their eyes, there are only clouds and dragons. Today let me give you a ride. In my next life, I will remember that some places can't be entered. The person who wants to fight is not the elder who has been talking before, but another old man beside him. When the elder saw the man's hand, he laughed and said, "Third, you should take it lightly. At least you should leave a corpse for the two younger generation. I never know how to make it lighter. Let's see how they make it." The three elders laughed and confessed that the bony winged bird leaped down from his back. He had 2 arms, a dark robe, big sleeves and clapped in the wind. He looked like a fat bat. After landing, the 3 elders flipped their sleeves, held their hands behind them, and said contemptuously, "You two can do it together and I'll save some time." Cloud Dance looked at the 3 elders wearing a strange bat mask, and gradually became alert and cold, because she couldn't see through the strength of the 3 elders. However, at this time, the ear whispered the dragon's evil voice. "Little thing, don't panic. This old guy just used some tricks to cover up his real strength." Immediately, Longqingxia put one hand on Yunwu's shoulder, and his mouth was full of evil spirits. He said to the 3 elders with 3 parts of smile and 7 parts of sarcasm, "Old man, you are not worthy to let my daughter-in-law do it. I can think about it when the master of the beast sect comes. It's not up to you to do it or not." Suddenly I heard that Longqingxia despised the beast gate so much that he called himself his daughter-in-law as a young man. The 3 elders thought that Longqingxia deliberately humiliated him. Immediately he was furious, and then he attacked the dragon. Dragon! Stand back, Cloud Dance eyes bottom Ali. In the hand thin sword has already come out. The flame magma tumbles on it. Is about to block this attack for the dragon Qing Xia. But at this time, unexpectedly, he was pushed to the safe place behind him by the dragon. "Little thing. I can't rely on you to protect my husband every day. Isn't my husband really a soft eater?" Before Longqingxia's words were heard, the 3 elders had already clawed at Longqingxia's heart. This scene let Cloud Dance face a change, heart a tight. But at this time, the crude wooden 8 trigrams appeared again in Longqingxia's hand. Surprisingly, with the 8 trigrams in his heart, he rebounded the 3 elders' claws. That's the 3 elders who had been shot away, had some ferocious eyes. They looked at the wooden 8 trigrams in Longqingxia's hand for several times. They were not sure what kind of weapon it was. He could only look hard, wave his arms together, and make a wall of virtual shadow in front of the dragon. Compared with the urgent attack of the 3 elders, the evil radiance of the dragon's evil mouth deepened a little, and his feet moved slowly. The crude wooden gossip was swayed around by him at random, and he avoided the 3 elders' vicious claws again and again. "Boy, who sent you here?" The 3 elders couldn't attack for a long time, and they were playing hide and seek all the time. He swept back about 2 or 3 sticks, and inquired about the dragon with anger. "The beast gate has done so many good things. Didn't you expect this day? I can give you a chance to guess who it is. If you guess right, I'll leave you a whole body." The dragon's evil voice was smiling, but his face was cold as hell Shura, and the radiance of his lips looked more like the evil pride of laughing at the people in front of him. "Boy, it's arrogant enough. Good. I'll never let you talk again." I saw that the 3 elders' eyes suddenly turned red under the provocation of Longqingxia, and their hands began to spread a layer of strange gray hair. They looked more and more like a big bat. Yunwu, who who was protected by the dragon's evil spirits, frowned. At the bottom of her heart, she wanted to step forward for a time, because the feeling of being protected behind a man made her feel too strange. However, the man in front of her is holding her hand tightly, as if to say that a man should protect his woman. Originally, I didn't know what to do, but gradually, Fengxi felt a little nervous, and he could not help holding the hand of Long Qingxia. Perhaps, at this moment of mood, even if she went to work with the three elders, Cloud Dance would not have this strange tension. However, Long Qingxia's old wounds have not been healed recently. Why is he trying to be brave at this time? For her? Or at this time, Long Qingxia seems to be too lazy to talk nonsense with the three elders like this big bat. With a raise of his hand, he directly throws the wooden gossip into the air. I saw the crude wooden 8 trigrams, as if driven by something, straight into the sky. In the process, its size also rose in the storm. In the end, it covered the sky. Even the white-winged birds in the middle of the sky could not reach it. Oh, bravado! The three elders didn't show any uneasiness about this. The main reason is that the crude 8 trigrams are not on the top of the table. It seems that they are useless except for becoming bigger. Long Qingxia saw him like this. A cold meaning flashed in his dark eyes, and the corner of his mouth outlined the cold arc of evil. After releasing Yunwu's hand, he immediately made a seal between his hands. At first, the movement was a little difficult, but with the change of 10 fingers, it became more smooth. Cloud Dance looks at his 10 fingers moving like clouds and flowing water after Long Qingxia's side. Somehow, he suddenly feels a very terrible, dangerous breath in his heart. The three elders also had this feeling, but the blind conceit of his own strength made him hesitate how to deal with it. With the formation of the seal, Long Qingxia's hands gradually emit light. The light color is emerald. It seems that Long Qingxia's hands are carved with jade. Third backup. At the moment when the seal of Dragon Qingxia was finished, the elder came to drink in horror in the sky. What happened at the same time with his words was the light from the wooden gossip, and the white-bone-winged bird in the sky suddenly went crazy and fell all the people on his back. The elder and others were better. Although they were in an awkward posture, they were not injured when they landed. But some of the less powerful disciples were really hurt. Several of them broke their arms and legs on the spot, collapsed to the ground and couldn't get up. The three elders looked at the other people's miserable situation, and then looked at themselves undamaged, a burst of sneer. That's it? How ridiculous, yes. Then you have to laugh. The dragon leans evil spirit. Yang's mouth opens, his words are full of words, his eyes are sharp and cold, and he waves to the white-bone-winged bird in the sky. In that instant, those a few crazy white-winged birds, suddenly like a tamed wild dog, beast eyes ferocious, chi brush toward the ground. It's so fast that almost no one reacts. The white-bone-winged bird, which used to carry the elder, was the first to fly here. Its huge bone claws were caught on the back of the three elders. Needless to say, the clothes, even the skin and flesh were directly worn out. Its bone claw is like the hook hanging the pork from the pork stall. Only the three elders who are hanging it now are bloody and ferocious. Three elders' blood along with his pain scream together sprinkles, splash big elder, and so on full face. Next. At the moment when the crowd was still stunned, the white-bone-winged bird holding the three elders gave a long cry and threw the three elders down. Don't. Bang! The three elders screamed bitterly, and the sound of smacking a small pit on the ground made everyone shake. The white-bone-winged bird is very good at choosing places. The three elders are fragmented and can't see the human body. It's just right that they smash in front of the elder, and let him see clearly. Old 3. The elder's canthus are about to crack. He looks at the three elders' skin and bones, and his eyes fall on the old god's dragon Qingxia. Boy, I want your life. The elder, who was already mad because of his brother's tragic death, pounced on the dragon fiercely. His muscles swelled, and he quickly changed from a shriveled old man to a stout figure like a black bear. As he approached the dragon in front of the evil, his black clothes were almost broken. Yunwu clenched the sword in his hand and wanted to go forward. Be good behind me, believe me. But suddenly came the Dragon Qing evil low magnetic voice. All the movements of Yunwu stopped under the sound. Although, I don't know what he wants to do. However, at this moment, Yunwu trusts him unconditionally. Long Qingxia looks at the elder with a bloody brush on his eyes, and his hands seal again. This time, he moves more smoothly and takes less time. Just 1 second before the elder's thick black palms were about to smash the dragon's evil head, a dazzling light burst out from the wood gossip in the sky. Fast. The light column sweeps on the ground like self-consciousness, leaving a deep gully. When the light beam swept to the elder, they only heard a poof. In that way, the elder burst into a blood mist in the light column, and was quickly evaporated by the power of the light column. As the elder disappeared, the light reflected back into the wood gossip. There was silence. Yunwu stands behind Long Qingxia. Seeing this scene, he takes a deep breath. He never knows that this strange and gossip thing can have such strange terrorist power. Just this man, since he has such a skill. Why don't he do it early? I prefer to get stuck in the last second. Do you want to show her excitement in front of her? Make her nervous about him? Cloud danced to the man in front of the body, suddenly a burst of depression and speechless. Now, all the members of the Beast Gate lost their speech ability to everything in front of them. The third elder, even the elder, died like this? The strength is second only to the big elder under the temple leader of this stronghold. He even has a whole body. No, he can't even leave a hair? Finally, the 10,000 Beast Sect disciples responded and gently climbed up carefully, trying to escape quietly. However, in such a situation where everyone is stiff, how can no one pay attention to him? When you have the first one to run away, you have the second one to follow in the blink of an eye. The 10,000 beast men on the square, as long as they can walk, or even climb, are running desperately to the outside of the square. Stop. Whoever runs will die. A flat thunder like violent drink. Let all the disciples are conditioned to pause. Their eyes are fixed on that, a man who is full of yin qi. It seems that they all have reasons to comply with this man, but everyone who stops looks very ugly. There was a rather weak question in the crowd. Elder 2, you have to avenge the other 2 elders. You have to avenge them. We are just forced to join. We are weak. Even if we fight for our lives, we can't beat that kid a hair. This sound seems to have caused a lot of people's agreement. Erchang's chest heaved violently. As soon as he turned his hand, something appeared in his hand almost in an instant. He turned his hand and threw it at the leader. There was another panic in the crowd. All the people were like mice with hot paws. They ran everywhere to avoid the things thrown by the 2 elders. Cloud Dance and Dragon Qing evil line of sight swept away. Naturally also see what those are. It's countless little centipedes. Red, it should be highly toxic. At this time, countless tiny centipedes crawled out of the body of the smashed 10,000 Beast Sect disciple. As soon as the body pulled out, it was just because the centipede crawled and pulled its muscles. I said whoever runs will die. The ferocious sight of the second elder passed quickly on all the disciples' faces. At this time, no one dared to refute him. Running or not is death. Moreover, being blown into a blood mist by the light column is not more terrible than the death method in the Beast Gate. Who can run? Boy, if you kill my elder martial brother, I will pay for your lives. The 2 elders put cruel words in a gloomy and angry way. However, when the 2 elders came towards them, Yunwu always feels that this person's walking posture is very uncoordinated, like his legs don't bend very well. He walks very slowly and his knees are stiff to death. Let's forget it. You 3 brothers, let's get together. Long Qingxia laughs a little bloodthirsty. His hands sealed for the 3rd time. This time, before Yunwu could see his gesture clearly, the light column with destructive power had swept towards the second elder. However, just when the pillar of light caged the whole 2 elders in, Dragon Qingxia's face suddenly changed, his eyes sank, and his eyes were stained with a trace of disbelief. What happened at this time inspired the disciples of the Beast Sect. After a short period of noise, a burst of cheers burst out. I saw that the 2 elders in the pillar of light were strangely unharmed. Think of before Big Elder directly burst into a blood fog. Afraid as in the time of death, even oneself was killed didn't realize. What is the ability of these 2 elders to survive in the pillar of light? Cloud Dance and Dragon Poor Evil see this scene. Also brush a trace of consternation, with doubt. The second elder sneered at the dragon in the pillar of light and said, "Boy, your ability is to rely on these foreign things. Now what else can you do? Don't think that if you can get out of the dead hole, you have the right to run rampant in our beast gate." Long Qingxia was silent for a moment, and his smile faded. His bright black eyes were staring at the two elders, as if he wanted to find out the problem. However, did not notice, originally standing behind the clouds, eyes suddenly a dark, as if by what to pull away from the soul of the general moment. At this time Yunwu, who was always standing behind the dragon, suddenly stepped forward and attracted other people's attention. "I didn't expect that people who have already died will still seek death wholeheartedly." As soon as Yunwu said this, the two elders immediately trembled and looked a little blue and blue. What the 8 trigrams can find is the life gate of the dead hole, which shows that its power is used on living creatures. As a dead person, even if he can follow the guidance to find your position, he can't feel your existence. In the cloud dance that words fall, on the scene 10,000 beast door disciple can't help a lung of dark sigh. The dead. Their second chief is always dead? How is that possible? However, at this time, the dragon has no psychology to deal with those things. Because at this moment he keenly felt that the smell of cloud dance suddenly became not right. It seems that the cloud dance in front of us is another strange breath. Who on earth are you? The two elders walk out of the light column projected by the 8 trigrams, and stare at Yunwu with a gloomy face. From his fierce and turbid eyes, it can be seen that he is determined to kill Yunwu. I didn't expect that after so many years, today's branch of Wanwoman would become like this. Yunwu didn't pay attention to the two elders. Her eyes were sorrowfully looking at the skeletons in the square, with mixed emotions in her eyes. Dragon Qing evil in this moment. The eye ground suddenly a cold, determined in front of this person. Really is not cloud dance. In other words, her body is controlled by something. You don't have to be nervous. I'm not here to take her body. Aware of the hostility of Dragon Qing Xie, Cloud Dance turned around. The pair of distant eyes looked at him, coldly said to him. Long Qingxia's eyes were sharp, and he said coldly, "Before you say this, you leave her body first. I'd rather believe you. When you're done it will be." Cloud Dance looked up at the wooden 8 trigrams that covered the sky, and there was a look of nostalgia in his eyes. She sighed. White and slender hands, with quite mysterious techniques, began to seal. That handprint looks very similar to the one before Dragon's Evil, but it has subtle differences. Long Qingxia looked carefully and found that the fingers of Yunwu moved very slowly, but it was just that people couldn't see her movements clearly. Two elder originally because of Cloud Dance tell his secret. To Cloud Dance, also some fear, think she is the master of these two people. But I was relieved to see that Cloud Dance had to be printed with 8 trigrams in the end. That gossip is of no use to him. You two boys don't make a fuss in front of me and die quickly. The scene that the great elder and the third elder lost their lives because they despised the enemy is still fresh in my mind. In order to avoid the long night dream, the second elder took advantage of the Cloud Dance to seal the seal. He leaned forward and wiped the ground with the back of his feet. A strange black fighting spirit burst out from him. It turned out to be a human figure in front of him. The fighting spirit of the figure was originally curled up in pain. After the two elders spat out a mouthful of blood, they immediately spread out their limbs and rushed to the Cloud Dance. The light in Long Qingxia's hand flashed, and the épée in pairs with the cloud dancing thin sword appeared in his hand. Without a moment's delay, he rushed directly to the fighting spirit of the figure. Long Qingxia doesn't like the uninvited guest in Yunwu's body, but he doesn't allow anyone to hurt Yunwu's body. Standing behind Long Qingxia, the Cloud Dance is making a seal. Seeing this scene, he takes back his eyes and continues to concentrate on his hands. On the other side of Long Qingxia, the two elders' fighting spirit grabbed Long Qingxia's épée with his bare hands. Unexpectedly, with only his strength, he let Long Qingxia's action stop. Now that you know that I'm not a living person, you should have heard of the power of death. Now try it yourself. The second elder had the upper hand, and it was inevitable that he would be arrogant again. The strength of Long Qingxi's arm muscles soared, and the body of épée was covered with bloodlines, which seemed to flow like the blood channels of human beings. Since ancient times, have you ever heard of a real strong man who would kill himself in order to improve his strength? Long Qingxia sneers at Leng Dao. His attack is not slow. He splits a sword obliquely and quickly, and his aggressive hand is cut to pieces by him. What do you know? How many people in this world are just like me, with mediocre aptitude and inferior talent? If I hadn't risked my life to change everything now, I would not have been able to practice all my life. The second elder was very excited by the words of Dragon's Evil. He was shaking all over and growled at Dragon's Evil. The fighting spirit of the human figure seemed to feel the emotional fluctuation of the master, and the attack on the dragon was more and more fierce. Since the three elders, Long Qingxia has been relying on external forces. What Yunwu worries about is actually right. Now, because of the damage of the soul, the body has not recovered, let alone strength. Not long ago, Long Qingxia's body was attacked by the fierce human form, leaving several wounds of different depths. However, at this time, he was just like he was outside the cave of Warcraft Forest. He was always in front of Yunwu, like a high wall that would never fall down. He didn't retreat half a minute. In the fight between the two elders and Long Qingxia, it can be said that they have the upper hand. In addition to defense, Long Qingxia has no power to fight back. However, the second elder still felt a burst of fear, which filled his body. The source of the fear is always behind the dragon, lowering his head and focusing on the cloud dance in his hands. During the time when Long Qingxia resisted the two elders, the seal knot in the hands of Cloud Dance changed several times. It looked more like the seal knot used by Long Qingxia before. It was just the beginning. What Cloud Dance does now is a complete set. The two elders are more and more uneasy. They want to get rid of the dragon's evil as soon as possible, and prevent the Cloud Dance from completing the whole set of seal knot. With the second elder's blood splashing on the human fighting spirit, Long Qingxia even heard a scream coming from the fighting spirit, as if there were real ghosts. For example, the speed of the fighting spirit of the human figure was more than doubled. In the short video of Long Qingxia, the opponent opened a bloody hole in his left shoulder. Cloud Dance looked at him distractedly, frowned and yelled, "Hold on a little longer." Dragon Qing Evil Head does not return to stand in front of Cloud Dance body. Blood-stained face emerged a chilling smile. Eyes gradually scarlet up. "Take care of yourself. If my woman's body is damaged, I will kill you," said the overbearing voice. At the end of the speech, the dragon's eyes became scarlet and bloodthirsty. Although he had lost a lot of blood, he cut his wrist on the blade of épée. Strangely, the blood did not flow to the ground along the sword body, but was absorbed by épée. With the dragon pouring evil blood to feed the sword, the red veins on the sword body become more and more bright. In the end, they all begin to have ruby-like luster. After putting the blood, Long Qingxia's face became pale. But the sneer on his face is more and more bloodthirsty evil spirit. Under the blade-like eyebrow, his eyes are cold and bright. "I didn't want to do it recently, but a dead man came to beg for death. I'll give you some face." Smell speech of two elder, disdain of nose hissay. Quite arrogant tone just in time. This elder also along the way send you to see Yan Wang Yi. After that, the two elders were ready to kill the dragon as quickly as possible. However, at this time, those two elder just return a pair of proud disdain of face up. Abruptly brush once put on consternation. After he said that, Long Qingxia held the épée in both hands and cut directly at the two elders. Where the sword edge passes, the wind roars and the murderous spirit rises. The elder's face changed slightly. He hurriedly directed the human form to fight against Long Qingxia for a long time. But Long Qingxia didn't care about the wounds on his body. It's scarlet and bloodthirsty. It's amazing. While the sharp edge of épée cleaved on the two elders' shoulders. Under the control of Long Qingxia, he sliced the two elders from the left shoulder to the right lower abdomen directly into two parts. Scream, in an instant burst of air. His face changed and he began to tremble from the bottom of his heart. It turns out that the man didn't just rely on external things, but from the beginning he didn't really show his ability. I didn't expect that the second elder would be killed at the same time that the two elders split into two and broke their breath under the scream. The fighting spirit of the human form was exhausted and dissipated between the heaven and the earth. Long Qingxia looks at the body of the two elders who are not in peace. There was not a drop of blood on the corpse. The mask fell down because of the fall. Under the mask, there was a face covered with dead ash and thin in the iron blue. This person who has been dead for a long time, this time is really dead. Long Qingxia moves slowly to support the ground with a pei, looking coldly at those who are still in the same place, and their faces turn white. There is no need for him to speak. Under his gaze, none of those people dare to go. At the thought of this man killing 3 elders in such a short time, all of them seemed to be nailed in the same place and had no courage to move. All right. Busy for a long time cloud dance, the hands of countless flowers like seal knot. I saw that the knots were shining with golden light, forming a string, like butterflies flying in the wind, towards the center of the wood gossip in the sky. Then you can go to. The dragon turns around slowly and looks at Cloud Dance. You should know the key to opening the array. When everyone is ready, open it. Cloud Dance does not care about the attitude of dragon. Just looking at the string of golden stream, some trance, some vicissitudes, and like some gloomy. Well, don't be so nervous. Cloud Dance looked at the sharp eyes of the dragon, some meaningful way. That this is gone, but in the future, we may have a chance to meet. Finish saying, also didn't wait for the dragon to pour evil to make what reaction. A shallow light, schwa for a while, from Cloud Dance that eyes in twinkle but pass. Next second, Long Qingxia saw the man in front of him, and his eyes gradually recovered. However, Yunwu wakes up and soon frowns. Rubbed some tingling head. What just happened? She remembers that after a stab in her head, something seemed to happen, but her memory was blank. What the hell happened? Cloud Dance can't help but lift eyes and look at the dragon who stares at him. However, he is stunned by the bloodstain of the wound on his body. What's going on? What happened just now? It's all right. With warmth and a little rogue smile, back to the face of the dragon again. With that, Long Qingxia goes to Yunwu and reaches out his hand to hold her in his arms. However, Long Qingxia took a step, his face suddenly changed, and a mouthful of fresh blood came out of his mouth. At the same time, his whole person is like a collapsed sand pile, and he immediately falls to the ground. Cloud Dance and see this moment. Heart suddenly a draw. Fortunately, at the moment of falling to the ground, Long Qingxia knelt down on one knee, holding on to his side with one hand and the handle of a pei with the other, so that he could barely avoid the scene of falling. Long Qingxia, how can you do this? What just happened? Cloud Dance is almost subconscious, quickly bent over to support Long Qingxia to sit down on the ground, and the sight naturally noticed the unhealed wound on his wrist. The wound seemed to have been cut by the sword in his own hand. What happened and how could it be so embarrassing? Is it just that her body was controlled by what? At the thought of this possibility, Yunwu's face was suddenly gloomy. However, at this time, Yunwu wanted to see the injury of Long Qingxi, but Long Qingxi held his right hand. I'm fine. Long Qingxia took a few breaths heavily, and his breath was full of blood. Cloud Dance brow tight wrinkly, stare at him away. Have no problem. Why don't you refuse to let me give you feel a pulse? Well, little one, I'm afraid it's not the time to start a crime. Dragon Qing evil face with helpless, but holding Cloud Dance right hand action has not let go. He knows his body very well, but now is not the time for her to worry. Just then, in the distance, there were a few birdsong, and Long Qingxia stood up with a pei as expected. With a gentle look in his eyes, he said to the cloud, "Little thing, you should protect yourself and take you away for a while. This silly man, this time should care about, should also be his own She has the ability to protect herself, but now Yunwu wants to show indifference in the past, but looking at the man standing in front of her, she seems to be unable to ignore it anymore. After a while, the sound of birds from the sky has come from far and near. At this time, the Cloud Dance could see clearly that there was a huge winged bird in midair, and on her back, she was carrying a white-haired old woman. Messy white hair, covering in front of the forehead, wearing a worn patch of farm clothes, sitting on the back of the winged bird. To tell you the truth, at first sight, I thought she was a beggar woman. But when Yunwu's sharp eyes swept Her white hair under that pair of gloomy and strange white eyes, suddenly also some scared. White eyes. Isn't this the ghost pupil that is often shown in movies? I didn't expect that I could really see it in reality. At the moment I saw it, I really felt that my hair was up. This should be the current leader of the 10,000 Beasts sect. Dragon Qing evil low voice, gently from her ear. Cloud Dance pick eyebrow. The current leader of 10,000 Beasts? So this old woman is responsible for all this? I saw that the old woman came. White hair under the pair of white eyes. Overcast swept around the eyes below. When I saw the body of the second elder and the third elder, her white pupils seemed to be squinting in an instant. A strange and inexplicable smell, which spread from her as the center. Did you break into my beast gate and kill my son? Abnormal hoarse old voice, died with a puzzling een creeps from the mid-air. What about her? Those three who just called themselves Marshall brothers are not brothers? Is this old lady right? Long Qingxia raised his mouth slightly, and raised his eyes to look at the old woman after hearing this. The old woman was not angry. She only used her dark eyes to stare at the dragon, which was very strange. Seeing this, Yunwu felt a sense of foreboding at the bottom of his heart. As soon as he moved, he immediately stood beside the dragon. Wait a minute, don't be a hero, stand behind me. Yunwu whispered to the man beside him. She knows something about the man's pride. However, in her eyes, no man has to stand in front of a woman. It's more important than anything to get out of here alive. Long Qingxia turns his head and looks at the woman around him. The corner of his mouth seems to deepen a little. There is an undercurrent at the bottom of his deep eyes. However, I didn't wait for the dragon to speak again. The old woman sitting behind the winged bird in mid-air, her hoarse voice rang out. It seems that you two want to compete with each other when you are dying. Good. See, in that inexplicable jia creepy laughter, the figure in the air suddenly jumped down. Quick and neat. In the twinkling of an eye, I saw that the old woman fell beside the body of the three elders who had been thrown to pieces. When the old woman landed, Yunwu's eyes narrowed slightly. No legs? The empty lower part of the body, cut outside, is an upper part of the body, very abrupt. However, these are only the second. Because the next scene is Let Cloud Dance, even the dragon pour evil, all feel nausea scene. The old woman grabbed the bloody corpse on the ground with her bare hands, and sent it to her mouth as soon as she fell to the ground. The sound of biting bachi was bright red and dyed her white hair on her lips, which seemed to be a scene of delicious food. In a moment, all the disciples on the scene felt a tumbling in their stomach at this time. The crisis in Yunwu's heart is deeper. His brow tightened, and he came close to the dragon and said in a low voice, "Wait a minute, you will leave first when you catch the chance, do you hear me?" "What? Are you worried about your husband?" At this time, the dragon was in a relaxed mood. Cloud Dance sometimes really some don't understand. This man in the end is what psychology, at this time, still in the mood of joking. However, at this time, the old woman who was eating the broken body suddenly made a creak sound. As if it's the feeling of the bones and joints twisting. Cluck. Quickly the old woman's body suddenly protruded several bones. Tear. The tearing sound of the clothes being punctured. Only her thin body ate white sharp bones, interspersed in the body on both sides of the exposed. What's that? Yunwu looked at it and frowned. Long Qingxia's dark eyes narrowed slightly. It turned out to be a Black Widow. I thought it was a powerful role. Black Widow? Is it? I haven't waited for Yunwu to speak. The 8 white bones on the old woman's body extend towards both sides in an instant, with sharp limbs and rows of small but sharp spines on the side of the bones. It won't take a moment. 8 long sharp legs have been fully expanded, the original lean body, at this time by the 8 long legs support hanging in mid-air, and the face under the messy white hair, finally exposed in the outside. I saw that it was a distorted facial features. White eyes stare at them, blood-red lips stained with blood. Showing 2 long teeth. Is this still a human? Anyway, it's like a mutant spider. Boy, you two have good strength. Now that you've come to my beast gate, don't leave. You'll stay together, and let the old woman have a good appetite. Just now also hoarse voice, now become that harsh sharp. Long Qingxia's handsome face finally smiled down, extremely cold eyes show. You have a big appetite, but I'm afraid you don't have that ability. Haha, you're a big boy. Okay, I'll take you as an appetizer first. With a sharp voice, the old woman's white eyes were covered with blood and cold. All of a sudden, her white hair like a spider spinning silk, shwa shwa filled the air and quickly attacked the dragon. Yunwu's face sank, the sword in his hand flashed at the moment, and the fire element condensed in an instant. Back up. As soon as the shrill voice fell, the cloud danced, and the foot moved. The figure was like a shadow, and it went away. Long Qingxia looks at Yunwu's quick action. On his cold face, he can't help but raise a smile arc. This stupid woman really takes him as a sick man? However, at this time, the dragon Qingxia, originally in the hands of the seal action quietly, but slowly stopped. Focus on the line of sight, on the woman who stood up for him. To be honest, how long has it been since he learned of his life experience that he has not been truly protected? The taste, I really miss it. Looking at the cloud dance, the deep black eyes of dragon Qingxia unconsciously catch a touch of imperceptible soft light in cloud dance. In the body shape of a flash past at the moment, the hands of the fine sword dyed with fire, rapid horizontal cut down. Hit white hair such as steel wire, under the knife, actually set off bursts of sparks. However, the fire element in cloud dance is not an ordinary fire element after all. In a few seconds, the smell of scorching, white hair off. The old woman's face suddenly changed, and she suddenly took back her hair, which was cut and scorched. It seems unexpected that this seemingly weak boy can cut off her white silk. Damn it. The old woman was angry and narrowed her gloomy white eyes. Suddenly, her mouth opened, and a white mist suddenly came out of her tusks. Cloud danced since the hand, the body's muscles naturally in a full state of tension. At the moment when the white fog hit, the body twisted and flashed at a strange angle. Zizi. White fog fell on the ground, and a stream of white smoke rose in a moment. I saw that the ground had been corroded into a small hole. It's highly toxic with strong corrosiveness. Cloud dance eyes a cold, ridicule-like said. Old thing, you this spitting habit can be really enough disgusting. I don't know how your man can stand you. The old woman's face sank, and she was a little angry. Cloud dance is in that next second, body shape in a flash, jump up with extremely fast speed. The sword was held high, the fire elements were fused and injected, and the moment the fire was rising, it fell fiercely towards the old woman. Yunwu is very clear in her heart that she is definitely not the opponent of this old woman. Therefore, we can only make a quick shot to see if we can take advantage of it. However, ka-dash. The sound of being resisted. Boy, if you want to hurt me, it's a little tender, but you're a weak boy, you still have some ability. The flesh and blood will be delicious. The old woman stares at Yunwu in a gloomy way. She just raises her two legs with her forelimbs to resist Yunwu's attack. At this time, is proud like Gaga said with a smile. By the way, sucked the mouth of saliva. Out of the tongue licked the blood-red lip. It's like watching some delicious food. To be honest, it's disgusting. Cloud dance that cool pupil mouth flash a to put on gloomy, kill idea full. However, after hearing her words, the corners of her mouth coldly outlined a curve. Old thing, you want to eat me, I'm afraid you can't bite. To say arrogant, in fact sometimes cloud dance is no less than dragon. However, when the old woman heard Yunwu's words, it was as if she had heard some big joke. Can't bite? Boy, how naive you are. You haven't really seen my black mother's ability, haha. Hinyang raised her head and laughed. Is it? The cloud dances the corner of the mouth to raise, but at that moment when the black Nyang raises her head and laughs, the wind element is wrapped in the body in an instant, the body shape is in a flash, and the residual shadow is brushed. At the same time, a few tiny things that were imperceptible threw into her mouth when she was not prepared. Hey, Nyang is an old man. How can she be unprepared? But she is still too proud. In the moment of a lung, the pill melted as soon as it was taken, which made her have no time to spit it out. However, in the face of the attack of Yunwu, Hanyang's reaction was extremely rapid. Her two sharp little serrated long legs went straight to attack. Dragon Qing evil see this. Eyebrow a see you. I ground brush once a touch of worry of nervous. But at this time, Yunwu changed his attacking posture, suddenly turned back and quickly retreated. Run. Maybe. Yunwu has never been an emotional person. When she knows that the head-on is not her opponent, she will not be silly and fight with her head-on. Therefore, in a retreat, when Hanyang's brush quickly attacked, the space element and wind element instantly changed, and the figure directly disappeared into the space element. Disappeared? The defeat of the attack made Black Nyang's face darken, and there was a trace of consternation. With her ability and speed, even if the samurai comes, they will not be able to escape, not to mention a boy at the top of the 7th level. But immediately, her mind was aflash, and her white eyes shrank strangely. Space elements? Is it the rare element of space that hardly exists? Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible to disappear suddenly and avoid her attack. At that time, if it's really a space element, that kid is really talented. Young age is the peak of 7 levels, and the owner of space elements. If it develops in the future, then originally black-face Black Nyang, later on think, that pair of strange white pupil but gradually rose a kind of abnormal potential and must get. Boy, you are not my opponent. You'd better surrender. As long as you are willing to surrender to me, I'll spare your life otherwise. Black Nyang, that sharp voice, toward in the air shout. However, the words behind her didn't speak out, but at the moment when the words fell, her white eyes swept by and directly locked on the dragon's evil body not far away. The cloud dance in the space element, watching her lock her eyes to Dragon Qingxia. How can you not understand her meaning? Eyes suddenly cold. Hide. It's not the way. However, Dragon Qing evil sighed, but in that Black Nyang cast to come over the line of sight, that pair of deep black eyes in the instantaneous swept a trace of bloody undercurrent. A silent killing opportunity has been set off in his heart. In front of him, just want to hit his woman's attention, simply live impatient. However, Long Qingxia didn't act immediately. Instead, his black eyes quietly welcomed the sight of the Black Lady, which gave people a kind of weak feeling of being seriously injured. Black Nyang's vision a lock, confirmed that is a good start food. The speed of starting is not slow at all. As soon as the white eye pupil glimmered, it didn't give anyone a chance to react. 8 legs moved quickly, and at a strange speed, they rushed to the dragon. Long Qingxia's mouth quietly sneers, and his eyes are bloodthirsty. However, the clouds in the air to see this, it is a shrinking pupil. At the bottom of my heart, my body suddenly flashed out. Long Qingxia, get out of the way. The wind elements of both hands are condensed, and countless wind blades have turned into sharp knives to attack the black girl who pours at the dragon. Chong chong dash. I saw that the wind blades seemed to be smashed on the copper wall and iron sheet, but it was of no use to the black girl, and it didn't stop her from pouncing on the dragon. Damn it! Seeing that Long Qingxia is about to be attacked by Hanyang, Yunwu's face suddenly changes, and he rushes away quickly. But at this time Long Qingxia quickly gave her a look. Also that look in the eyes, let the cloud dance movement stiff and sit directly. Boy, although I can't improve my strength by eating you, it's just right to use you as an appetizer. As Hanyang said this, she had 4 long legs on her forelimbs and attacked the dragon at the same time. She wanted to cut the dragon directly. Long Qingxia seems to be waiting for this moment, and the evil spirit sneer blooms on his face. Is that right? Is that right? This boy, he really doesn't know what to do. At this time suddenly, a strange and dazzling golden light burst into the sky in an instant. The light beam directly enveloped the dragon Qingxia and Hanyang. See, in that instant, Black Nyang, that pair of white pupil mouths suddenly raised a burst of startled fear. What's this? The Black Nyang wants to withdraw for the first time, but the whole body is fixed in that instant. But it's not only that, there are waves of pain in my body, the outer ring. All they saw was a dazzling golden light, and nothing could be seen in the golden light. Of course, in the side of the cloud dance, we only see the golden light, but also can't see what happened in the golden light. However, just in a man's eyes she understood. It turned out that the dragon had been ready for evil. Not a moment. A shrill, almost piercing scream sounded from the golden light. As soon as I heard the voice, I knew it was the cry of the head of the beast sect, Hanyang. What happened? Most of the beast's disciples, who are greedy for life and afraid of death, are already flustered when they hear the cry. And the slight fear is gradually diffused in many disciples. Is it true that even the leader has been defeated by these two boys? Impossible, absolutely impossible. With these two boys, how can they be the leader of the beast sect now? The golden beam disappeared. A thick smell of blood, in the first time diffuse and open. The scene that appeared in front of people's eyes completely made everyone look silly. Combined with the smell of blood in the air, it can make people feel sick in their stomach. A pair of startled, even frightened eyes, all stiff, fell on the man who was like walking out of the blood pool. Even Cloud Dance, see that man, also can't help but frown. All over the body is the blood, even on the hair, it is still ticking with the blood-red smell. As for him, there was only a pile of fragmented corpses left. Strangely, there was no trace of blood on the pile of corpses whose internal organs were clearly visible. Don't think about it. It's on this man right now. It's just, how did he do it? Yunwu looks at the dragon who is coming towards her, and her eyebrows are tightened tightly. Of course, it's not because of thinking, but because of the smell of blood on him. It's too smelly to bear. Don't get too close to me, it stinks. Yunwu quickly reached out to stop him from approaching. Dragon Qing evil smell speech, footstep pause, look down at himself. That is nourishing his body, but with poisonous blood at this moment, he is really not suitable to close to her. But he couldn't help asking a question. Little thing, what did you just throw into her mouth? Things. Yunwu thought about it, but he didn't hide it. At the beginning, I got some phoenix saliva from a man's hand outside Luoyang. I used some poison to mix it with the phoenix saliva, and made it into a small pill. Can't the old woman vomit poison? I just got her some. Originally, she wanted to say that the effect of detoxification must be good. But before she could see the effect, the Black Nyang was greedy to attack the dragon Qingxia, which became the end now. However, Cloud Dance does not know. It is precisely because of her pills, which are wrongly typed, that they play the role of detoxification under the insidious poison of Feng saliva liquid. What's more, they make the black girl's blood directly enter, and become a great tonic effect. At this time, you can feel it clearly. Under the blood on his body, not only the source of his injury is being repaired, but also the damage of his soul seems to be getting nourishment, and his body healing ability is rapidly recovering. Of course, in addition, the strength of the samurai in his body is also rising like a jumper, little by little. Until he was about to break through the top of the samurai, he stopped. Samurai Peak. It's only one step away from Wuxia. Feeling the changes in the body, Long Qingxia didn't show any excitement. Because he doesn't want to, this little woman in front of him finally care for him, because of these changes and disappeared. He would rather continue to play his weak. A cell in the back of the Gate of Beasts. It's more like a cell than a lab. Because in that spacious space, in addition to more than 10 large cells for human beings, it is an extremely modern laboratory platform. And connected to the other end of the lab platform are some Warcraft captured and imprisoned. Most of Warcraft's level is not high, but there are many kinds. If you look closely, there are some mice and chickens. It can be seen that this is called the Gate of Beasts, which is really appropriate. However, at this time the focus is not on the Warcraft but in one of the 10 or so cells, which is completely closed. A little guy, by a thick chain, to the whole body up and down winding tied like a little carrot head. The girl in red was sweating. When she locked the last lock, she stood up and breathed a sigh of relief. This damned guy, originally a day's journey back and forth, just because of the non-cooperation of the test object in front of her, delayed her for several days. I don't know if the elder will punish her if she doesn't come back within the time ordered. However, she took back the runaway guy for the sect. The elders should not punish her. Maybe there will be rewards. Thinking about it, the girl in red was a little bit happy, so she was ready to go to the front to find the elder and get the merit. It's just that she has just turned around and has not taken 2 steps. Click. What's the sound of steel breaking? The girl in red frowned and turned her head. The next second, her pupils suddenly shrank. The black line on her forehead went straight down, and her face turned green and black. I saw the guy who was just tied up with little carrot. At this time, he had already sat up and was lowering his head. gnawing at the thick iron chain on his body. Even did not vomit, even chewed directly to the stomach to swallow. People who saw this scene thought that what it was gnawing was not chains, but bread along the way. The girl in red tied it with a rope. It was also a mouthful directly gnawed away. I began to be surprised by it. It had already worn away all the way. So, after returning to the beast gate, the girl directly tied it tightly with the thickest iron chain. Unexpectedly, it was this scene again. Little monster, you've had enough. It's all coming back. You can accept your life. If you want to escape, they won't let you go. The girl in red looked at the little guy who was still gnawing his head and warned with a black face. It's a pity. Little Stink didn't talk to her from the beginning, and obviously didn't care about her from the beginning. So for her warning threat, very arrogant like direct disregard. If it is not felt, it is in this direction. It will not be caught again and again by her, back here. It's in this place and it's not far away. Click, click, dash. Nibble, it's looking for Mama, looking at the little thing in front of her. She still ignored her, biting the iron chain that had been wound around her. And the girl in red turned black again. You smelly thing, okay, you don't listen to me, right? I'll go to the elder now. You'll feel better. The girl in red is also extremely afraid of the little stinky tooth. How dare she do it? Angry, ferocious, fall down cruel words. Immediately turned away. However, before he left, he locked the iron door of the room with several big locks before he left. Since her teeth were so good, she let her bite them to see if she could break them. When she finds the elder and comes back, the first thing she does is to take out his sharp tooth to see if he is still arrogant. It was not until the girl in red left that Little Stink raised his head from the chain. Little adult like, that pair of round big eyes, is disgusted with disdain. You are smelly, smelly woman. Broken reed. A small Stink continued to bite, until the body winding chain broken. Chubby body just got up from the ground. Peep, 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 peep to the iron gate. Without saying anything, he opened his mouth and bit the big lock with a row of sharp teeth. An iron door, like being curd dregs. It won't take a moment. The door was short of a big mouth, and the little fat ass came out of the prison room in a above-board manner. Mama, I'm back. Xiao Smelly was very excited at the bottom of his heart, and finally he was able to find Mama. However, Little Smelly was just about to go to find Yunwu, but there were many cries for help behind him. I saw that there were at least a lot of young men and women, and Warcraft on the other side of the prison. The square is still in the full view of those disciples. Hoppen. A sneeze suddenly came out of Yunwu's mouth. One side is using the clear water. Simply wipe the dragon Qing Xie of the next face. Lift the MOU to look at the cloud dance. What's the matter? Have you caught a cold? Yunwu rubbed goosebumps on her arm and shook her head. The heart is a strange. Why, she seems to feel the little Stink calling her. What's more, just now her fire element seems to have a fluctuating jump. That obviously means that Little Stink seems to be not far away from her. However, her connection with the Little Stinky contract has not changed. In other words, it wasn't long after Xiaoqiu was taken away by Feng Huangnu that she felt that although she had a contract with Xiaoqiu, she seemed to be cut off by something. So all the time, she didn't feel much movement about Little Stink. Cloud Dance also thought that it was Feng Huang who found out the contract between her and Xiaoqiu, so she didn't care much about her hands and feet. But how did she suddenly feel that Little Stink came? Is it true that Feng Huang and Xiaoxiuka are near the Beast Gate? Just when the clouds are thinking, Long Qingxia has simply dealt with the bloodstain on his face, and comes near. Little thing, what do you think? Suddenly close to the smell, let the cloud suddenly convergence mind, slow down. Cloud Dance frowned and looked at the man in front of him, and did not answer his question. After you leave, go to take a bath. Your smell is very bad. It's not that Yunwu can't stand the smell of blood, but that the smell of blood on Long Qingxi's body is really too fishy. It feels like rotten smelly sea fish. It's a disgusting smell. Dragon Qing evil smell speech, nod, but the hands subconsciously stretch out. Want to toward her shoulder to hook up. Your hands. Cloud Dance pick eyebrow of look at him. Long Qingxia's hand was stiff in the air. All right. It's natural for him to be careless with her, which makes him feel like he is instinctive. However, Long Qingxia grinned. I'm used to it. Okay, try to be restrained for your husband before you get rid of yourself. The clouds danced in silence for a while. But he turned his head and glanced at the many disciples of the Beast Gate who were still frozen in the square. What are you going to do with them? Long Qingxia took a look along the line of cloud dance. Just a glance made those disciples' faces slightly changed, their feet trembled, and they almost didn't kneel down. Tu Young Xia, please forgive me. We are all human beings. Yes, we are all human beings. We are all forced to be disciples of the 10,000 Beast sect. Don't kill us. We haven't been brutalized yet. We are really human. One after another, begging for mercy suddenly rang out in this square. It's no wonder that Songin was so disappointed with today's Beast Gate. If you look at the scene in front of you, you can imagine. However, those begging for mercy did not get the sympathy of Dragon Qingxia, or even Cloud Dance. Maybe these two people are cold-blooded people. Or maybe it's because they can see through a lot of things and live in peace of mind. What do you suggest? Long Qingxia asked. Do whatever you decide, I don't mind. Cloud danced directly back to the road. Well, the Shangguans deal with me, just let me destroy this place. Who has the ability to escape, even if he should not die, if he has no ability, he will destroy it together. Anyway, the Shangguan only let him destroy the place. As for people, he can't control them. He is neither a good man nor a villain. As long as he is not in the way of destruction, he will not care about the good or bad of others. Believe that little woman is the same kind of person with him. Well, then do it. Yunwu agrees. The array in midair has been fully opened. As long as he combines his fingerprints and starts the destruction array, this place will no longer exist. Of course, he is not suicidal. Naturally, he has to go out with little things. It's just that Long Qingxia wants to take Yunwu away. A red girl's figure flies from the back mountain. When I saw the disciples gathered in the square, the red girl's fierce voice came from afar. I said, why are all the people gone? It turns out that they are all here. Are they also here? You don't have to go out to look for it. I've got the escape test object back. I'm locked up in the back mountain cell. I heard it. Dragon Qing Evil and Cloud Dance, all lifted eyes of Dynasty that red dress girl to see past. After landing, the girl in red's eyes, the first swept to the dragon with blood-stained clothes, and then a Cloud Dance dressed as an ordinary teenager. It's very eye-catching. Not long after she went out, did she join a new member of the sect? But before the girl in red asked, the corner of her eye swept to the other side of the corpse. Finally, when the corpse was cut in half, two elders. The pupil of the girl in red widens and shrinks. What's going on? At this moment, the girl in red seems to have noticed something wrong, and the crisis in her heart rises. Who are you? When Yunwu saw the girl in red, she felt familiar at first sight. At first, the Cloud Dance didn't think of anyone else, until the girl in red showed an angry expression. Do you think she looks like Yao Kaji? Cloud Dance slants ahead, saw an eye. The man nearby asked a sentence. Long Qingxia's mouth was like a smile, but not a smile. Cloud Dance picked eyebrow. It seems that Yao Kaji tried every means to come to rescue her, but she had a good life. From the girl in red, Cloud Dance and Dragon can feel the smell of Warcraft in her body. You don't have to look at it. You know it's been brutalized. The girl in red, when hearing their conversation, her eyes flashed a trace of anger. Who are you in the end? Yunwu and Longqing will not answer her naturally. The girl in red, who didn't wait to answer for a long time, was a little annoyed. You dare to break into our Beast Gate. I'm really impatient. At the end of the speech, he turned his head and said angrily to the disciples in the square. What are you doing? Don't you catch these two intruders? Do you want the elder to punish you in person? These disciples belong to the periphery. Most of them have not been transformed into animals, or have not been successfully transformed into animals. In her eyes, identity is lower than her. Therefore, when he commanded these words, he was somewhat arrogant and arrogant. If at ordinary times, which of these people dared to disobey? But now many of the disciples on the scene, just under her angry voice, suddenly turned over. As soon as her face changed, the birds didn't even see her. She followed a group of loose sand and immediately turned around and ran away. They can hear the dialogue between Yunwu and Long Qingxia just now. At this time, who is going to kill her? It's important to run for her life. Hey, you want to die, don't you? The girl in red looked at the disciples who scattered in a crowd and stamped her feet in the same place. Looking at these cloud dances and dragons' evil spirits all the time. There is a sneer on the corner of his mouth. The girl in red felt humiliated. She turned her head and stared at Yunwu and Longqing. I'm asking you, who are you? If you still don't say who you are, don't blame me for being rude to you. You're welcome? Sometimes, Yunwu really doesn't know how to appreciate the ignorance of these girls. Still naive. At this moment of the scene, plus the 3 bodies on the ground, we should not add the big elder who has become gray. We should also know that something is wrong. Hide when it's time. At this time, she's still silly want to be rude to them? However, also did not wait for Cloud Dance and Dragon to pour evil mouth. Suddenly, back mountain comes out what explosion sound. When I looked up, I saw a burst of black smoke rising in the direction of the back mountain. When the girl in red saw this, her face was ugly. Damn it, it must be that stinky thing again. See. That young girl breaks to read a voice to still not fall, spread mini Warcraft of roar. Roar? Ouch. Huh. Wang. That roar can be really mixed very, but also vaguely heard through a kind of liberated roar. Smoke and dust rolling, a burst of random running sound, soon from the mountain. Not for a moment. See a little fat figure, sitting like a dog is not a dog of Warcraft, gallop riding. Mama. All the way, the excitement and shouts came from Yunwu. When Yunwu heard the voice change, looked over and saw the little stink, he was in a burst of tears and laughter who told her what was going on. The girl in red looked at the little stink who was riding her tame beast and headed at the front. Her angry face was gloomy. It's really you who make the noise. If I don't clean you up today, I won't call Yao Xian. Yao Xian roared down. Slender hands. Sharp claws suddenly burst out, extremely ferocious. Yao Xian's eyes were overcast, her feet stood on tiptoe, and her body leaped up. As soon as the cold light flashed by, it quickly fell to the little stink. That posture, there is a rhythm of trying to kill the little stink. And Yao Xian did think that way. Originally, she wanted to bring it back. Fortunately, she would take the lead in front of the elder. In that way, she would have a more important position in the family of beasts. But where to think of, it all the way to her trouble even if. Today back to the beast gate, it even released the Warcraft in the cell, which is really not a small matter. If you let the elder know, she will be punished, not to mention her first success. Instead of letting the elder punish her, she might as well kill the little monster first. By the way, in front of these 2 people who don't know where to come out, give them a good ah. Small stink riding behind the Warcraft, straight to the clouds. But looking at the Cheng Yaojin who was killed suddenly in midair, he was also a little angry, and his canthus began to crack his ferocious teeth. It's a posture of biting you to death if you dare to get close to it. However, it is also at that moment. A figure in a flash. In that Yao Xian beast's claw mercilessly waved down that moment. A cold light swept away. Chong. 5 sharp claws cut off directly. Immediately, a strong breath hit Yao Xian's body directly. Ah. After the painful sound, I heard a body thump. Yao Xian is impartial, just hit in the pile, was just black Nyang hiss eat broken blood on the body. However, this still let Yao Xian recognize, the corpse of this rotten meat on the ground, unexpectedly is the 3 elder of 10,000 beast door. 3 elders? 3 elders? The other one is the second elder. What about the other one? Is it the elder? But the clothes don't look like it. It's like the leader. It can't be. It can't be true. It's all the elders. They are so powerful. Who has the ability to kill them? What's more, the leader when Yao Xian forgot the pain of his claw being cut off and couldn't believe staring at the meat stall underground. Small stink a long time ago a fly pounce, small fat body wrapped around the neck of Cloud Dance. Mama, I miss you so much mama. Small stink that call a very excited, nose even smell, mouth even kiss. Almost to Cloud that a black hair, To baptism a turn. Cloud dance forehead under the black line. Just want to reach out to the small stink to catch down. However, has been a big hand has been the first step of the agency. Long Qingxia grabs the strange thing of the woman who kisses him in disorder and pulls it directly away from Yunwu. His dark eyes squint slightly and stare at it coldly. What the hell is this? Cloud dance sighed. Already have that food-greedy flower. When again run to such a person not beast thing? Call her mama? What do you call it? How to make him feel so uncomfortable. Little Stinky can't find Yunwu easily, and can't get close to her well. But before he rubs twice, he is dragged away again. I'm really angry. Bares the tooth to expose that sharp ferocious tooth directly. Angrily stares at the dragon to pour evil. Sends out woo like angry sound. Angry like molar mouth. You stinky man, you are the ghost thing. Let me go, I want numbness. Smelly man? This little fat monster. Who learned this tone from? How to make him so unpleasant? Long Qingxia has no other hobby, but he especially likes to compete with the people who rob his women. Even if he is a little monster with no man, no beast in front of him. She's mine, you little monster. You'd better be nice to me, or I'll smoke you. Dragon Qing evil black eye danger am I. Half threat low voice says toward it. Small stink like to learn, also squinted its big cute eyes molar way. Hemp is mine stinky man, you don't let go, I will eat you. Threatening people, who won't? At the beginning, it had been under the mysterious old man's eyelids for so long, and it was threatened by the smelly traceless for thousands of times. It was also angry, ate up their things and blew their beards. This little smelly man dares to compete with it and dream. With that, Xiao Smelly waved his fat hands and showed his sharp claws fiercely, trying to shake away the big hands that were pulling his feathers behind him. But the dragon lifted his hand and lifted it up. Rao is to let its short fat hand hook not to. Let the small stink smell face red. The evil spirit of the dragon's mouth was smiling, but he said in a cold voice, with your little baby teeth? You want to eat me? Believe it or not, I'll take out your little teeth and make you a soup? At the same time, the dragon's body unconsciously sent out a strong and arrogant, which was not strict and powerful. This man is not in the pool. But what about this little stink? Is it an ordinary little monster? I don't know if it's a man who suddenly has a sharp and powerful change in his aura, or how to drop it. Just now also learning the ferocious expression of the small stink, in the man that cold threat line of sight. All of a sudden the body trembled, big sprout eyes suddenly water mist filled up. Then his mouth flattened like 1,000 grievances. You bully me. What, wanna play pity with him? Long Qingxia glanced at it, and swept it with white eyes. If he didn't eat this, he said coldly. What's the matter with bullying you? However, 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops at that moment. The water mist filled the eyes of Daming, and the tears poured out like rain wine. Cry out loud. In an instant, it's like heart-rending. Woo, I want mama woo woo. Dragon Qing evil mouth corner fiercely drew a few, almost, can't help but want to strangle this small monster in the hand. This guy, it's the attention. Little Stinky's fat claws, instead of being just fierce, were pitiful. They danced to the clouds, with tears in their eyes and big eyes staring at her. Yunwu, originally standing on one side and watching them make trouble, was also happy to watch the play. Can suddenly this cry, with that pair of watery eyes? I do not know how, some soft-hearted. Well, this egg is hatched by her. It's so pathetic. Even if you know that it may be intentional, it's still a little soft-hearted. In desperation, Yunwu reaches out her hand and wants to hold back the little stink from Long Qingxi. Well, give it to me. Woo woo mama. Little stinky heart happy. Long Qingxia's face turned black, his hand raised, and he threw the poor little fat man in his hand into the large group of Warcraft running around. Long Qingxia. Cloud Dance screams, and subconsciously wants to follow it. But as soon as her foot moved, a big hand grabbed her wrist. A force pull, directly pulled her into the man's tall and strong arms. I say you are a little thing. When I'm not with you, you usually provoke some rotten peach blossom. Now you are with your husband, but you still provoke such a little monster. Do you want to annoy me? Long Qingxia's deep voice is full of jealousy and helplessness, and some gnashing of teeth. In particular, he could feel that Yunwu didn't dislike the touch of the little monster at all, and even liked it. This point, but even Hongling does not exist, let alone him. How can he not be a little jealous? Cloud dance for men this unreasonable jealous behavior, some gas hold back. Fortunately, seeing that the little stink was thrown directly on the top of the bear's head without being trampled by the herd, I was a little relieved. But after a while, little stink was taken by the big bear and ran straight away. Cloud Dance turned his head and glanced at the man beside him. I said, "You are a big man, can you not be so naive? It is the descendant of Phoenix, the divine beast. I took it away by accident at the beginning, and made a contract with me without any reason. It became my fire contract beast. Moreover, I hatched it out. It was its instinct to be intimate with me. Can you come on, let's go. Let's get out of here first." Yunwu originally wanted to say more, but think about it, this place is not a good place to explain. Just after going out this time, she planned to talk to this man well. Don't be so domineering, at least, make the situation clear. With that, Yunwu wanted to chase the little stink, so as not to be taken by the big bear. Now this place is the base of the Beast Gate. Who knows where it will be, and what is the forbidden area of the dead? If you are not careful, you may not even have any slag. After Long Qingxia heard the words, he was really surprised. That little monster is the descendant of Phoenix? It doesn't look like it. However, the little monster was hatched by Yunwu and became her contract beast. It is understandable that the relationship between the two can be so intimate. Of course, Long Qingxia's understanding is literal. If he still kisses in front of him, he will make another humiliating move in the air. Long Qingxia still holds her hand and says, "Don't worry. Since it is the descendant of Phoenix, those ordinary warcraft can't hurt it. Moreover, it can find you all the way here. How can this place trap it?" It's also like verifying the words of the dragon. As soon as he had finished his words, the big bear, who had just run away, was carrying the little ancestor, like stink, and then turned back to the clouds. However, this time, it was not the scattered warcraft, but a group of young boys and girls supporting each other. There were still a lot of them. Mama. What's going on? Cloud Dance looking at which men and women, eyebrows slightly wrinkled. Because all of them were shabby and dirty. Some of them even had not taken a bath for several years. They were covered with layers of mud. However, it soon occurred to me that these might be the human beings captured and imprisoned by the Beast Gate. In addition, there are some warcraft, also followed by these people. After a while, a large group of young boys and girls, and some more advanced warcraft gathered in the square. "My lord, help us. Help us, this place is the devil's lair, please take us out together. Please help us." Under the excited cry of Xiao Chou to Yunwu, the people who followed immediately understood that the only straw they had was the two people in front of them. Because that little stink, that tooth is bad, they have all seen it. Not long ago, it was that little stink, one mouthful in a cell, who swallowed his stomach like a steamed bun with an iron lock, and rescued them all. These two people are its masters, which must be more capable. However, at the moment when these people were begging for mercy, a sharp and gloomy voice came. "Want to escape? It's just a dream. From the moment you step into the Beast Gate, don't think you can escape safely." When Yao Xian got up from the ground, she had already rejected the previous idea in her heart. The two corpses in front of me can't be the three elders and the headmaster. It must be these two people who want to pretend to be fooling people in the Beast Gate. Before those outside disciples were fooled, she would not. As long as she can delay these two hateful boys until the elder comes back, or other helpers come back, won't her skill take the lead? This idea together, Yao Xian eyes greedy flash, that arrogant base, instantaneous full up. Get up, just cut off the claw, is rapid growth and recovery. However, compared with just now, there was something different at this time. The color in her eyes began to change gradually. The pupils were dilated, gloomy and green. Originally pretty features, some twisted, mouth gradually exposed sharp tusks, thin back, some bulging, arms began to thick. This is the image of the wolf beast? It's very ugly for a pretty girl to look like this. Long Qingxia looked at the process of Yao Xian's animal transformation, tut-tut, and came close to Yunwu. Look, you're kind enough to let her go, but she doesn't appreciate it. It turns out that Yunwu did show mercy to her just now. If you put it in the past, Yunwu will die if you don't do it. When did you feel pity? Even began to his opponent, and a trace of mercy? In fact, benevolent compassion is a fatal weakness for a professional killer. Smell speech. Cloud Dance didn't good spirit of stare him, he talk much. What do you want? Kill us? Cloud Dance raises the Mao of C to that Yao Xian, rare much effort the rhetorical question of a tongue. Yao Xian didn't really see the strength of Cloud Dance. Seeing the appearance of her weak little man at this time, she thought that her ability was certainly not big. Even if she has some skills, it is definitely inferior to her. You know, she's just going to be shot because she hasn't transformed into real strength. Now she's completely transformed into real strength. Now if she wants to kill him, one move is enough. Yao Xian's inflated self-confidence made him haughty and sniff like a cloud. I hate to kill you, but since you come to me, I will let you never come back. Take it. Under the arrogant cheers, Yao Xian's body suddenly arched up, and the moment of a little bit of ground on her toes, she rushed to the clouds. That's very fast. Sharp claws. Brush split through the air. The Cloud Dance sees this. The corner of the mouth coldly outlines a touch of radiance. The body shape does not have any flash. Hua brush dash. The sharp claws cut across and 5 claws fell down. Yao Xian looked at the Cloud Dance, which was split by her claws without moving. She was rather ferocious, and her face raised a smile of satisfaction. I thought how powerful it was. Look, I'm not so scared that I can't even flash? But this pride didn't last 3 seconds. All of a sudden, the smile was completely stiff on his face, and the pride in his eyes was instantly replaced by the color of consternation. There was no sense of reality, no blood. Even the figure in front of me began to be transparent quickly, and finally disappeared. Shadow? Is it remnant shadow? How is that possible? She is now, but in the middle of the 6th stage, still the strength of the wind attribute. How can this boy leave only a shadow in front of her? And she didn't notice? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Yao Xian's eyes full of amazement can't believe. With that moment of Zhengleng, but doomed the end of her life. Shua. There was a flash of silver. Poof. Yao Xian's neck is thick and strong because of the animal, with a blood mouth wide open and a plasma jet straight out. Cloud Dance figure also at that moment appeared in her right side. Opportunities have been given to you, and that's your choice. Cloud Dance's eyes just coldly glanced at Yao Xian, then disdained to see more. Since for the first time, Yunwu has been lenient to her for the sake of being a victim. Then this second time, she wanted their lives, so she left her life. It's not that people who are brutalized don't have their own thinking and wisdom, but they depend on themselves. It's obvious that Yao Xian's character is not very good. Therefore, Yunwu is very kind to her. Dragon Qingxia looks at this scene, seems to be very satisfied. Deep black eyes brush a bloodthirsty smile. And the little stink sitting on the top of the big bear's head clapped his fat paws with cheers, very excited and happy. To that smelly woman, it wanted to kill her for a long time. Yao Xian, who was incredulous in his eyes, was gradually replaced by fright. He wanted to turn his head and look at Yunwu, but the plasma on his neck spurted more quickly. I want to say something, but all the voices are stuck in the throat. To death. I'm afraid they are still unwilling to think. It's impossible. How could she be killed by an ordinary human? Besides, I haven't even seen what the weapon is, so, when she fell down and died, her eyes were still wide open. I don't want to die. Good. Well done. Ungong, you are very powerful. This kind of devil kills well. At this time, but a burst of cheers suddenly sounded. At this time, the men and women in the square were like beating chicken blood, as if they saw an exciting scene. Their eyes were burning and excited looking at the clouds. Cloud Dance looks at the men and women on the field, looks at their adoration and excited eyes, and is not used to dealing with this kind of scene. Can't help but frown, turn head, ready to let Dragon Qing Evil see how to deal with. But just then, Poof Yunwu's face changed and a mouthful of blood gushed out. Almost at the same second, Long Qingxia's face changed dramatically, and his roar raised. Asshole. Little Stink also felt something. It was in that second that he bared his teeth and roared. Numb roar. See, don't know when a thick and bloody tongue-like thing, unexpectedly from Cloud Dance's abdomen position through and pass. Reaction? No, not to mention that Yunwu didn't notice the reaction. Even Dragon Qingxia didn't feel any crisis before. Looking in the direction of the scarlet tongue, it turned out that the tongue came from one of the crowd not far away. Yao Keji? No, it's totally different from the scholar-like image we saw before. At this time, Yao Keji, with a gloomy and violent atmosphere, was extremely obvious. His eyes are very strange. They are thick and circular, with two protruding eyes. What attacked the clouds was the scarlet tongue extending from his mouth. How could he be a beast? However, how could he not even find his attack with the strength of dragon? What the hell is going on? At the moment when Dragon Qingxia roared, the ape came out and fell down to the tongue. At the moment when Yunwu fell to her knees, she hugged her tightly. Her eyes were red with blood and her heart was burning. She asked, Little thing? Little thing, how are you? How do you feel? Xiaoqiu, at the moment when he roared out, his eyes turned into scarlet and weird for the first time. He bared his teeth, waved his claws and rushed to Yao Keji. Yunwu's face turned white because of the pain. Take out that thing. The sticky saliva of the tongue should be toxic, which makes her feel that the body is penetrated with pain, and there is also the sharp pain of toxic corrosion. Long Qing evil smell speech, where dare to have the slightest hesitation. Bear it, little thing. One hand pressed her abdomen. The other hand quickly pulled out the tongue that still ran through her abdomen. Poof, at the moment of drawing out, a burst of black blood came out. Cloud Dance, pain almost in front of a black faint in the past, can only bite the lower lip, endure the attack of vertigo. The extracted blood also splashed the blood on Long Qingxia's face. At the same time, he was so scared that he turned pale and felt that his heart had stopped. For the first time, he was extremely afraid and remorseful. If he could pay more attention, maybe he would not. However, the dragon didn't stop. After pulling out his tongue, he wiped the blade of his épée with his palm, with his own blood, tightly pressed in her black blood hole of the abdomen. Little thing, it's okay. It's okay. You can bear it. It's okay soon. It's okay soon. Dragon Qing Evil tightly hugs Cloud Dance, flustered like constantly chanting. However, from his red eyes, we can see that he is flustered, anxious, worried, afraid. Yunwu really felt pain, especially when the man's hand pressed her abdomen. A strange drill pain, otherwise hit her, almost made her faint. After taking a few deep breaths, Yunwu vomited out 5 words. Hold open. She felt that once the blood on his hand touched the hole in her abdomen, it was like being bitten by innumerable mice, or by innumerable snakes in her stomach. She was almost as miserable as she could bear. On hearing this, Long Qingxia quickly released the hand that wanted to heal her with blood and asked, What's the matter? It's hard, isn't it? At this time, the dragon was a little flustered. Yunwu was biting her gums until she could hold back the pain. She couldn't help but put her hand over her abdomen, but at the moment when her hand touched her abdomen, she seemed to feel clearly that there was something surging in her body. Now she is not happy to feel what it is. However, the one that can move in her abdomen is probably the mysterious branch that has been rooted in her elixir. It's just the branch. What happened to her? Yunwu no longer knows. At this time, she can only instinctively feel that if she doesn't think of a way, maybe this situation will kill her. Help me sit up. Cloud Dance Chi Week said a sentence. Long Qingxia quickly and carefully helped her to sit up. Little thing, what do you think? What else do you want me to do? His blood, coupled with his strength, has a healing effect that ordinary people can't understand. However, just Cloud Dance's reaction with her wound and did not heal. It seems that it is not much use. This has also let Long Qingxia extremely anxious worry. Even his blood can't heal her, so I want to have a rest. During this period, don't let anyone hit or disturb me. Cloud Dance's face is pale, looking at Dragon to pour evil seriously. In her eyes, Long Qingxia's originally flustered mood seemed to gradually calm down. To her, Thaxin. Good. Unexpectedly, she said that no one should disturb her, so he would guard her and remove all the obstacles that could disturb her. All of you. After holding Cloud Dance's original sight and sitting up, Long Qingxia's tall figure slowly stood up. However, at the moment when he stood up, the temperature in the air seemed to be frozen by some powerful killing intention. That pair of deep black eyes has completely transformed into a golden light. Yao Keji. As early as that moment when I saw Yao Keji being a beast, all the men and women who had gathered around were scared and then retreated to the distance, looking at the big fight and the small fight. Small stink, round eyes, at this time is that strange scarlet, extremely vicious. And that sharp tusk, seizing the opportunity, bites at Yao Keji. At this time his mouth is covered with flesh and blood. Yao Keji was very angry when he saw his daughter killed. Under the attack of Little Stink, his sharp claws also tugged at the little monster pestering him. Just how Rinru wants to throw it away, how he wants to tear it apart with his claws. But they all ended in failure. Not to mention its teeth and gripping skills, its fat tender flesh is invulnerable. His paw grasps on it, as if grasps on the steel, rattles but does not harm it. On the contrary, he was extremely embarrassed by his teeth. If you dare to hurt me, I'll bite you to death. Xiao Smelly was very angry. In the roar, his sharp and ferocious teeth were still grinding. If it was not for its small size and weak claws, it would have broken the man to pieces long ago. Yao Keji is an adult after all. He has just been successfully transformed into a beast. He is full of anger and has no place to vent his anger. And can't hurt Small Stink all the time at the moment. Anger of a ruthless pullet. Backhand fiercely fell to the ground. But just then, a cold air came. Little Stink was caught by a big hand at the moment when he fell to the ground. After that, he threw it to the other side, all the way to Warcraft's back. Yao Keji. If you don't have a cold voice, you'll have a little emotion. Long Qingxia's tall figure, I don't know when, has stood in front of Yao Keji. When Yao Keji saw the dragon in front of him, his pupils suddenly shrank. But immediately, the fundus of the eye fear set off. Dragon 4, you kill my daughter, I want you to pay for their lives. Just now his long tongue was cut short. At this time, when Yao Keji spoke, there was a trace of strangeness. Is it? Dragon Qing evil thin lips slightly yawn. The whole gas field is extremely cold. That's to see if you have that life to ask for. At the end of the speech, the hand turned, the épée was released, and the air of killing was lifted in the air. Anyone who dares to touch his woman will die. Long Qingxia's golden eyes are tinged with a trace of bloodthirsty red silk. They are extremely cold. Hoo-hoo. There was no wind in the air, as if there was a whistling wind. The épée attacked Yao Keji with extreme speed. For a moment, Yao Keji's strange eyes shrank, but he didn't see a panic on his face. It's the next second. The épée falls, the attack falls. Disappeared? How is that possible? Long Qingxia's golden pupil narrowed his eyes, and brushed a touch of surprise at the bottom of his eyes. Yao Keji, who was originally in front of Long Qingxia, disappeared quietly under his eyelids? Is almost as like as two peas before Yao Xian. The only difference is that Cloud Dance is very fast, giving people the illusion of disappearing in situ and leaving a residual shadow. At this time, Yao Keji really disappeared. For the first time, Long Qingxia was on guard. He stepped back to the side of Yunwu's body and swept around. No breath at all. What's going on? With Yao Keji's ability, it's impossible for him to have such strength that he can't even find out. In the Longqing evil cold kill squint, looking for that Yao Keji figure. The Cloud Dance sitting on the ground with eyes closed finally opens its eyes. But in that pair of black eyes, in the moment of opening eyes, the pupil in a moment into purple. He's in front of you on the left. His ability is chameleon. It should be the beast of chameleon. Don't use your eyes to see. Use your spiritual power to feel. Cloud Dance breath weak said. Under the purple pupil, Yao Keji's hiding is the same as not hiding. Chameleon, when in danger, will change its color according to the surrounding environment to hide itself, rather than really disappear. Yao Keji, who is hiding and does not move, changes his face when he hears Yunwu's words. How could he know his ability? Damn it. It seems that the boy is his biggest enemy. Yao Keji's eyes are full of killing intention. Before long Qingxia starts, his figure comes first. He's ready to take a move to solve Yunwu now. Bang! Claws firmly grasped the ape, setting off a spark. The hidden figure also appeared in front of people at this moment. Yao Keji takes back his hand in pain and stares at Long Qingxia angrily. He killed my daughter. I must take revenge for her. Get out of the way, or I will kill you. Long Qingxia was not ready to waste saliva with him. As soon as his figure appeared, the ape in his hand had been cut down. Yao Keji fled in a panic. At that moment his figure hit again. However, compared with just confused at this time, Dragon Qingxia did not panic at all. Instead, he compared his eyes on the spot. Take the sense as the eye, the spirit as the touch soon. Found out. The dragon is full of blood. With sword as the main part and fighting spirit as the main part. A strong breath is like a net in heaven and earth. Attacking a certain position fiercely, Yao Keji's eyes full of horror, and unwilling will be fixed on the twisted expression of fear. Cloud dance in just purple pupil eye flash out. To dragon poor evil remind. In front of a black, consciousness seems to be in an instant, what to be sucked in. When she woke up, she found that she was already in the space full of white fog. That is, in the open space outside the Hall of Chaos. However, at this time, there was a man with a big beard and a dignified face, who was staring at her. It's like she owes him $8 million. Big beard. Isn't that big beard turned into a big stone statue? While Yunwu was wondering, she got up from the ground and looked at the real man's big beard. What's going on? She remembers that she seemed to be pierced in her abdomen by Yao Keji. And then, you are the master of Chaos Hall. Now the gate of Chaos Hall is suddenly closed. Don't you care? Mustache's dignified voice was tinged with discontent. Smell speech, cloud dance frown, feel some depressed in the heart. Why didn't she care? How many times did she come in and knock? It's just about the door. It's just that the closed door doesn't mean that it's loose or open at all. What's more, she didn't know what happened. How did the gate of Chaos Hall close? No one told her what had happened. She was confused. Big Beard, what's going on? Cloud Dance asks toward Big Beard. Now he is the only one she can ask. Big Beard smells speech. That pair of yen sharp Malsun Ali full face beard. The facial expression is difficult, seemed to sink for a while. You up to now really don't know? She knew still need to ask him? Isn't this mustache talking nonsense? However, I have been in touch with this Big Beard several times, and I know his temper. Cloud Dance also nodded. A pair of consult-like mouth. Also please give me some advice. The beard stared at her for a long time before he said coldly, the gate of Chaos Hall is closed. Generally you have violated the bottom line of Chaos Hall, otherwise, this will not happen. The bottom line? What is it? Cloud Dance heard, immediately on the forehead out of countless question marks. Bearded seemed to have guessed that her face was confused. On her face full of stubble, it was the solemn coolness. You have released the Black Pride imprisoned in the chaotic palace without authorization many times. Don't you know what's wrong? Black Pride? Cloud Dance eyebrow instantly a wrinkly immediately, seemed to think of what, looked to Big Beard. Did you do to Black AO? Big Beard stared at Yunwu for a long time. I'm just a guard general. What can I do to it? However, don't blame me for not warning you. If you don't reopen the door of Chaos Hall within the specified time, you will be disqualified as the owner of Chaos Hall. With these words, Bearded did not seem to be ready to say anything to her. He turned back to the gate and turned into a stone statue. Cloud Dance looked at him. For a moment, some sign lung in situ. It never occurred to her that the situation was so serious. Was the identity of the owner of Chaos Hall cancelled? Is it because she let out the Black Pride? However, she was the master of Chaos Hall. Didn't she even have the power to control it? So she's still the master of some bullshit? Looking at the closed door, for the first time, Yunwu felt depressed. However, at this time, suddenly, a sharp pull like pain, suddenly hit her consciousness. See. Cloud Dance hasn't had time to respond to what's going on. As soon as it's dark, it's almost fainted by the sudden pain. It hurts. The pain was like being stabbed by thousands of needles on every meridian of her body at the same time. The pain was so severe that Yunwoo couldn't bear to be handsome. He fell to the ground and gritted his teeth. And at that moment, I saw that the whole white fog space in front of me seemed to change in an instant. The white fog that had been all around seemed to be suddenly contaminated by fuel. Little by little, it began to turn green. Even the ground above was gradually replaced by little green. And while the Cloud Dance was suffering, the ground like green pigment began to sprout countless green buds bit by bit. Around the white fog began to float above, that originally floating in midair with the original fire, just like the sun hanging high in the sky, began to shine and heat up. Over the green sky, it was gradually reflected bright. Everything seems to be changing rapidly at this moment. When everything in this space stops changing, the scene in front of us, like a scene, is pushed away from the clouds to see the blue sky. The sun is bright, the sky is white, the grass is green, the grass is oily, and the tower is simple and solemn. Beautiful. Very beautiful. It's a wonderful sight. However, the Cloud Dance was almost fainted by the pain in front of it. Outside. But also in this strange scene, see, Cloud Dance that was through the blood hole of the abdomen. At this time is being out of countless green willows, a little bit of wrapping up. After solving Yao Kaji's long Qingxia, he anxiously looks at the suddenly changing Cloud Dance. I wanted to use the power of darkness in his body to suppress the excessive power of life in her body, just like last time. But this time, as soon as he got close, he was thrown away by an inexplicable force. Little thing, what's going on? The worry in the golden pupil couldn't be concealed, but he remembered that she said, "Don't let anyone disturb her." Therefore, Long Qingxia first sent out those men and women with array, including those warcraft scattered in the square. All of a sudden, on the Jingkong Square, only the Cloud Dance sitting on the ground, the dragon poor evil, and the little Stink who refused to go out. What happened to Mama? Small Stink squatted in front of Cloud Dance. Round big eyes have recovered. At this time is very worried staring at Cloud Dance. Dragon Qing evil guard posture, standing on one side, not a bit lax. If you want to stay here, shut up. The voice was cold. At this time his face no longer half of the silk of the joke, it seems all over the body is that cold gas. Small Stink smell speech, small mouth a flat, big eyes watery flashing. However, it also seems to feel the pain of Cloud Dance at this time. Waving a little fat claw, want to rub her face, but in the end still hold back. Nothing to say, just like that, quietly sitting, quietly watching the clouds. How long have you been suffering from that pain? Yunwoo didn't know. She just felt as if she had fallen into a dark whirlpool. In that whirlpool, she saw a lot of things, or a lot of memories of previous lives. Abduction, special training, mutual fighting, disfigurement, betrayal, heartbreak, every scene, just like a movie, played back in her mind. However, this time the mood of Cloud Dance is unusually calm. It's like the anger, resentment and pain she had hidden in her heart before, all and do not know when, have disappeared in general. At this time, her heart is very calm. But calm down in, actually flashed a figure in the brain, indistinctly, as if also heard his voice. Dragon's evil? I don't know why, the bottom of my heart, suddenly a trace of palpitation. A difficult to use words to describe the feeling surged into my heart. Because of that throb, that feeling. It makes her feel that the darkness around her is not so cold, so dark, so quiet little thing. Ear, the man that listened to anxious calls sound. A more and more clear than a sound. Mama. It's a cry. Master. Hongling's rough voice. Originally, Yunwoo was still enjoying the peace in the dark, but at this moment, he found something wrong. Why is she here? She's not at the moment when Yunwoo wakes up and finds something wrong. Everything seems to break through the darkness. And this also let her see clearly, what's the matter in the end. Damn it. Her soul, out of the body. I saw that on the ground, the smell of Cloud Dance had broken, and the green willow wrapped around her body seemed to wither in an instant. Long Qingxia's eyes were red and congested, and he was holding her tightly, shouting at her like a roar. Little Stinky, with Hongling who didn't know when she appeared, was lying beside her, crying floating in the air of the clouds. Some can't believe looking at the scene below. She wants to go back, but the soul seems to be given something. I can't move. Did she really die like this? How is that possible? The last time she was dead, her body was broken, and she didn't live as if nothing had happened. This time, just such a little injury, really killed her? No way she won't. Unexpectedly, your soul is a woman. At this time, a sudden but some lonely gentle voice came. The sudden sound makes the clouds dance. He turned his head and looked at the sound. When you see the figure from the void, Cloud Dance's eyes suddenly squint. Sublime. White face, a pair of sharp two-color pupil, a gorgeous emerald robe. In addition to the previous sudden disappearance of the noble, no one else. It's just, how did he by the way? Long Qingxia said that he was you've been watching. Looking at the sublime that came out, when Yunwu said it, the tone was affirmative. Gao Sheng's white face raised slightly, but his eyes were strange and sharp. This place was my jurisdiction, but I decided to destroy it. Naturally, I want to see it with my own eyes. I don't know if it's because Cloud Dance is the soul at this time. When Gao Sheng talks about this, he doesn't hide anything. Yunwu was a little surprised. The jurisdiction he created? Although Long Qingxia secretly told him that this noble may be the former leader, and his identity is not simple. But unexpectedly, he was the one who created the Beast Gate? But it is said that the Beast Gate has been established for thousands of years. If he created the Beast Gate, how old is the man? Like a jade-faced young man, it seems that he guessed what Yunwu thought, and said with a lofty smile, I have lived for thousands of years, but I died for some reasons more than 10 years ago. Otherwise, how can you see me now? Dead. Cloud Dance alung, but immediately frown. Before that, how could you let me talk to the dragon? Can he see you? For this point, Chong'an does not seem to want to answer. After Yunwu asked, nothing happened. Until his strange eyes swept around her, he said with interest, Girl, the breath of your soul is different from other people's. Where do you come from? Does the soul body also have breath? The cloud dances to smell speech. The mouse sun tiny am I, the eye ground raised a silk vigilance. This alien person and thing are not good stubble. Who knows this Chong'an is what heart? Don't be nervous. I won't eat you. I'm just curious. However, it's no wonder why I feel so hard when I enter your body to control you. Chong'an continued. It turns out that he controlled her body before? What is the purpose of Chong'an? You girl, the more I say, the more nervous you get. Don't be nervous. If I want to do something to you, I've done it early. Now, I'll chat with you while I still have some time. You know, since I hung up more than 10 years ago, I haven't found a person to chat with for a long time. It's very lonely and boring. With that, Chong'an's voice was really a little gloomy. However, Yunwu frowned and didn't believe it. If you can appear in front of me and Dragon, can't you find someone to chat with? That's just some tricks I used when I was alive. It won't last long. Moreover, it's only 10 years. I'm so upset that I'm in the mood to chat with others. Cloud Dance listened to Chong'an said every sentence in reason like, but, always feel there is not quite right. At this time, Chong'an looked at the ground. His eyes were bloody and ferocious. He was close to the crazy dragon. That man has a heart for you, but it's a pity that you and him are. Speaking of this, Chong'an's words came to a standstill as if he were playing tricks. What is it? Yunwu frowned at him. Chong'an Siwen said with a smile. This is not good. Now it's broken. Later, you will naturally know that. Well, after chatting with you for so long, I should go. However, in return, I will give you a message. After a pause, Chong'an stretched out his hand and pointed to the lower part of it. Since the necklace around your neck is a sacred thing of the witch clan, naturally, only with the purest efforts of the witch clan can the seal be untied again. The purest efforts of the witch people? She's a half-blood witch at most now. Is that why she can't untie the seal of Bai Lao? It's just, do you need to work hard? Girl, live well. If it's so easy to hang up, it's really nothing to look at. After Chong'an said this inexplicable sentence, the figure directly under Cloud's eyes, turned into a layer of mist and disappeared instantly. Yunwu still has a lot of questions to ask, but there is no one to ask. Originally rigid, fixed in the mid-air of the soul body, but at this time, finally can play. She wanted to go down and return to the body of Yunwu, but no matter what she tried to do, her body was floating. Light, just like a cloud, no weight at all. It feels like it's going to float away at any time. What to do? Are you really going to watch yourself hang up like this? Even when Yunwu was worried, the air that also opened this array suddenly jumped down 2 figures. Fix an eye to see, unexpectedly, is that South Palace. Follow up the superior officer. Dragon 4, what's the matter with you? Why haven't you destroyed this place yet? Shangguan was at one stop, so he quickly asked. But when I saw the situation clearly, I was scared by a flower on the ground and an inhuman thing. But when the sight saw the cloud dancing in the arms of Long Qingxia, he was stunned and asked, what happened to Xiao Wu? How about? Before he finished speaking, he seemed to feel that the cloud dance had no breath. Dead. Shangguan's voice suddenly seemed to be cut off by something. When the dragon heard the sound, it seemed that the explosion switch had been touched, and his angry eyes swept away. At this time, his eyes were bloodshot and ferocious, and his whole body was cold and angry. Even if he was far away, he could clearly feel it. Shangguan shivered. An inexplicable murderous spirit of death poured into his heart. He didn't do anything. How could he make it look like he killed the little 5? However, at this time, Nangongyi stepped forward like an arrow, reaching out to touch Yunwu. Dragon Qing, evil but a hand, resist, cold angry eyes staring at him. No one can touch her. Let go, let me see if her soul is still there. Nangongyi's voice, which was always mild, was low. However, also didn't wait for the dragon to pour evil to move below. The hand of South Palace has already quickly probed to Cloud Dance wrist. In a few seconds, Nangongyi has released his hand. Standing up at the moment, he reached out and lifted the white dosha on his head. For the first time, he had no scruples in front of others and lifted the layer of veil on his head. I saw that under the dosha, he was as handsome and attractive as a god. The only surprise was that he had an eye on his forehead, like a blue pupil in the blue sky. One person has 3 eyes, which makes people feel strange. However, I have to say that his eye is really beautiful. Of course, at this moment, no one pays more attention to those. When Nangongyi lifted the veil, his eyes quickly swept around. Finally, in mid-air, the cloud dance position is locked. For the first time, Yunwu knew that Nangongyi's 3rd eye could see the soul. No wonder when she saw him for the first time, she had a strange feeling that her soul was seen through. After several meetings, she always felt as if she had been seen through by him. It turns out that this is not because he saw through her disguise, but how her appearance changes, but also cannot change the essence of the soul. In front of him, she is equal to the existence without any disguise. Nangongyi, help me. I can't get down. At this time, the only one who can ask for help is Nangongyi, who can see her. She didn't want to die, and she didn't want to die like this. Especially when she saw the man who was almost crazy for her. She was really reluctant. Nangongyi's eye also flashed a quick color, but he didn't answer Yunwu. Turning around, he went to the side of Long Qingxia and said in a low voice, I'll lend you some blood. At the end of the speech, he didn't wait for Long Qingxia to do it himself. He didn't know where to take out a dagger, and then he crossed Long Qingxia's arm. Blood coming out of his arm. Nangongyi puts his hand on his blood, turns around, and then jumps to the clouds. Give me your hand. Cloud dance smell speech. Quickly stretch out that looksome transparent hand. But when the hand with dragon's blood touched her soul, zizi. Like the kind of zizi sound when the meat is put on the hot iron plate, it rings in an instant. Intense soul body was burning pain, suddenly hit the cloud. Bear it, I'll take you back to your body. Nangongyi said, holding her hand. The figure quickly turned back. Long Qingxia's eyes were in scarlet state, and his whole body was in the haze of indignation. Can see the South Palace turn back. He instinctively hurriedly will be in the arms. The little woman's body lay flat. Why? Long Qingxia doesn't know. In other words, his mind has been blank. The action is in the instinctive reaction. All he knew was that Nangong-yi was the son of the national teacher, so he must have something. As soon as Nangong-yi landed, he quickly sent Yunwoo's soul into the body. At the same time, the dagger also cuts his wrist. Nangong-yi sends the blood from his wrist to Yunwoo's pale lips. Pure blood has the effect of cleaning the body and fusing the soul. He knew that very well. It was also the first time he met her that he had seen something. Yunwoo had no life body, suddenly a tremor. Ah! A sharp cry of pain suddenly raised. Closed eyes suddenly opened. Purple eyes suddenly burst out a strange beam. As if in that moment, the sky clouds surging fast, the earth also shocked. Then, I saw that the withered branches on her body, at the speed that can be seen with the naked eye, were rapidly changing back to bright green and growing rapidly. Looking at this scene, Nangong-yi has retreated. However, when he retreated, he said to the dragon, "Your blood can heal her wound." When the dragon hears the evil, he moves quickly across the palm of his hand. The sharp pain of the whole body makes Yunwoo return to the previous torture again. However, this time she clenched her teeth to keep herself awake. She really tried to die before she knew that she had too many things to do and how unwilling she was to die like this. So she has to get through, and she has to get through under the dragon's blood. Yunwoo's abdominal wound healed quickly. However, the green willow growing from her abdomen is more and more vigorous and growing very fast. After a while, the whole person of Yunwoo was wrapped up and became a cocoon shape. However, at this moment, it can make people feel clearly that she fell down and her breath recovered. Come alive. She's alive. This, far more than any news, makes Long Qingxia feel happy and joyful. It was also at this moment that the dragon felt that his heart was alive. Once upon a time, he would live and die for a woman? But what people don't know is that, in the sky, two figures are standing above the clouds, overlooking the scene below. When I saw Yunwoo wrapped up in a cocoon by the strange willow vine, I was surprised. That girl has, it turns out that this girl is a member of the witch family. Almost at that moment, they both spoke at the same time, but only half of the words were spoken, and they both stopped. Turning around, they looked at each other. Half a ring. You and I are in the north-south irrelevant areas. Unexpectedly, after so many years, you old man broke the rules first and intruded into my territory. Lofty mouth slightly raised radiant, that pair of strange eyes at this time is a deep streamer. At this time, standing beside him was an old man with a long robe and white hair. It was the mysterious old man deep in the northern Warcraft forest. I wouldn't have come here if I didn't have to, but what's your relationship with that little girl? Just when Gao Gao talked with Yunwoo, the mysterious old man had just arrived and was watching in the distance. Lofty smell speech, haha smile a. Repair old man, you this run to my territory up, but come to ask me and that wench's relation. This is not the reverse? Xiaolao's face was still calm and dignified. After looking at the sublime, there was an undercurrent in his dark eyes. He also said directly, the little girl intruded into my orchard and stole my 7 immortals. If she has nothing to do with you, I will take her back to my northern forest. 7 immortals? Sublime eyes in a flash across a bright color, however, very quickly but hidden down. Since you all say that this is my territory, then this girl can't be taken back by you. However, if you can give me some 7 immortal fruits to relieve my craving, it can be discussed. Sublime is serious. But let that repair old facial expression all instantly sink down. After so many years, you still want to hit me 7 fairy fruit? Gao Gao turned his head, glanced at Xiaolao, and said with a profound smile, don't forget, the real use of the 7 immortal fruits is only known to me. Even if you plant them, you can't really play them. It's better for you and me to cooperate? The elder's deep black eyes stared at Gao Sheng for a long time, and his face was restored to its former dignity. However, the voice but sink cold bottom voice of say, my answer, you should be very clear, cooperation need not mention. Unexpectedly this girl is in your territory. Then I'll wait for her out of your territory. I'll go to her again. The elder said, long sleeve a brush hand, body shape in a flash, twinkling of an eye out of the distance. Between 2 breaths, the old man disappeared. I have been watching the nobleness of the old man's departure, and this has restrained the smiling face just now. Sharp two-color pupil, some deep look to the bottom, the green vine wrapped into a cocoon-like cloud. Girl, you can steal his 7 immortals under the old man's eyes. You really have the ability. However, it's really the first person to let that old man come to me in person. What's your secret? Just as the sublime murmured, all of a sudden, a strange breath suddenly rose in the air, as if it could wave all things in the world in an instant. The clouds surged rapidly, the dark clouds began to spread, the wind roared, and a rhythm of lightning and thunder followed. In addition, there was a tremor on the ground. It's like some small earthquakes in the beginning. It caused a lot of commotion and panic to Warcraft in the forest. What's going on? Sublime is also alung to this sudden situation, has a touch of unexpected. And soon, when a dazzling purple beam of light burst from the green vine cocoon on the ground, Sublime's eyes were really shocked. I thought that the girl was just a witch, but I didn't expect that she was still. Inside the palace, Queen Xuelio, summoned by the emperor, is now with some royal nobles, accompanying Zhou Batian to build a luxurious courtyard in the imperial garden, enjoying flowers and dancing. It's full of luxury. But I don't know when in a certain direction of the sky, suddenly dark clouds, vaguely, it seems to hear the distant sound of thunder and lightning. However, depending on the situation, the heavy rain will not come to the palace. What's more, a courtyard has been built in the imperial garden. Even if it rains, it won't get in the way. So it doesn't disturb the enjoyment of these people at all. However, the snow willow sitting on the right side of Zhou Batian suddenly felt like something had fallen. Palpitation of smoke, face in an instant change. Is this the power of witchcraft in the second awakening? Who is it? Who is it? Boom. A loud thunder from far away suddenly rose in mid-air. But even if it's far away, the thunder is really frightening. I saw that under the thunder, the people in the whole imperial garden, including the dancing dancers, were scared to stay where they were. What's the matter? Zhou Batian frowned, raised his eyes and looked out, but the weather outside seemed clear. There is no intention of rain at all. At this time, the eunuch rushed out to look around, then returned, bowing and respectfully saying, "Your Majesty, it's the direction to the south. It's supposed to be raining by sight, and the thunder is coming from there." When Zhou Batian heard the speech, he didn't pursue it anymore. There's thunder coming from the south. No wonder there's a lot of rain in the south. Yes, just now the thunder was a little loud. I almost thought it was thunder in the dry weather. If it's okay, if it's okay. Sitting around the dignitaries and nobles, see Zhou Batian face is not changeable. Also you a word IA language, all said with a smile. But I didn't notice that the queen sitting on Zhou Batian's right hand was very ugly. That pair of black eyes, as if to endure something, but not purple swept. Boom. There was another sudden thunder. Xuelio's face suddenly turned white, as if she had been hurt by something. Poof. In full view of the public, a mouthful of blood shot out instantly. All the people present were stunned. After a while, they all changed their faces. Empress. Empress, what's the matter? The voice of surprise. Zhou Batian suddenly vomited blood on Xuelio, his brow wrinkled, and then he yelled angrily. What are you doing? Call the imperial doctor quickly. The sudden change over there is also happening. I saw that when the third thunderbolt cut through the sky was covered with dark clouds, and the rain was pouring down. On the square, Long Qingxia, Nanganji, Shangguan, Xiaoqiu, Hongling all surprised, looking at the bright purple-green vine cocoon. Falling rain drenching on the cocoon seems to be absorbed in an instant. Green vines are moistened, and small purple flowers emerge outside the cocoon. The faint fragrance of flowers in my heart can spread and open all around under the heavy rain. At this moment, everything in the world seems to be quiet. A few people in the rain, no sound, just like that, quietly staring at that, the longer the more flowers out of the cocoon. Can clearly feel the power of life in the cocoon. Also feel as if everything has become so comfortable, so calm as water, even the loftiness in the high altitude. There is a moment of zhonglong. However, it's still a monster that has lived for thousands of years. In a masked god, Soon also reaction. Eyes appear a surprised color, staring at the purple flower cocoon. The power of witchcraft. No wonder it can drive the aura between heaven and earth for your own use. Now it's just the second awakening. It has such strange power. If you wake up completely, that girl will. Murmuring to himself at the end, the sublime words suddenly stopped. However, the dark current in those eyes swept by at a very fast speed, and there was a deep and mysterious feeling, which made people feel dangerous and strange. Cloud dance in pain torment, already don't know how long. Anyway, she felt that her whole body was so painful that she had become numb. But she knew very well that her body was still changing, and she didn't know how and what it was like. I couldn't get rid of the strange feeling that bound her. So, she had to wait. Time goes by little. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days in the square waiting for the dragon Qingxie and others, but also still quietly waiting for the cocoon itself out of the moment. Just a few days later, it seems that the cocoon doesn't mean to break it. On the contrary, the purple flowers grow more and more luxuriant. Finally, Shangguan was a little impatient. I said, "This place is not too safe. Do you want to take her out to find a place to settle down, and then wait slowly?" If Nangong Yi didn't ask for the base of the 10,000 Beast sect, Shangguan really didn't want to come back. However, he has been waiting here these days because of curiosity, because that young man clearly cut off the gas, but in the hands of Nangong Yi and that dragon 4, he revived again, and was wrapped into a cocoon by those green vines. This really surprised him and made him curious. Anyway, he wanted to wait for the situation after the cocoon broke. However, we have been waiting for several days. No matter how curious he was, some of his curiosity was worn away. What's more, his sense of crisis gradually rose after he regained his sense of reason. I don't think this place is safe. Long Qingxie hears the sound and gives him a cold glance when he looks at him. He obviously doesn't agree. On the other hand, Xiao Smelly and Hongling turned to stare at the Shangguan. They were too lazy to answer him. These 3 arrogant attitudes made Shangguan feel depressed. He is also a kind-hearted suggestion. Although this beast gate is the base of the southern forest, it is only a peripheral base of the beast gate. If we let the real people inside the base know, the consequences will be. When he thought about it, Shangguan could not help shivering and glanced at Nangong Yi. "You say something, don't you want to stay here and wait for him to break the cocoon?" He was afraid that when the time came, what he was waiting for was not Xiaowu breaking the cocoon, but the dangerous opponent. At this time, Nangong Yi took the white veil to cover his handsome face and his third eye. Looking at the direction of Cloud Dance, he said calmly, "She can't move now." Naturally, people present heard that. Long Qingxie looked at the Shangguan and said coldly, "If you want to go, no one will stop you." He didn't say that he was going. It seemed that he was afraid of death. Shangguan is a little stuffy. Has the final say. Well, you have the final say. Anyway, if you are in danger, you will be the first to play it. I am worried about what it is. Red Ling, that flower on the Tuscanthus dew, close to him. "You stinky boy, give chirp again. Believe it or not, I eat you." Shangguan was scared back a step. The face under the black gauze seemed to eat a fly like some ugly. Fortunately, at this time, it's like a little crack. Although the voice is very small, but the presence of people whose ears are not sharp. In an instant, everyone's eyes looked at the cocoon that had been quiet for several days. A few small cracks, after cracking, along the branch of the green vine, with not fast but not slow speed, bit by bit extended to break. This process, people can't help but hold their breath, inexplicably nervous. And at the moment when the slit opened, those luxuriant purple flowers began to wither rapidly. As a result, when the cocoon is completely split by the slit, the outer layer is already full of dark purple fruits. Xiaoqiu and Hongling, who have been nestling around Yunwu, can't help swallowing when they smell the fruit fragrance with their keen nose. Very greedy. However, at this moment, they are very clever, quietly in place, staring at the cocoon falling, waiting for their hemp master to appear. Dragon Qing Evil also inexplicably some nervous, unconsciously clenched his fist. I wanted to go forward, but I was worried that it would hinder her. Nanganji is probably the most peaceful one among several people, because he has seen her safety. What else can he worry about? Suddenly, brush! In the air, several extremely fast strange attacks suddenly hit in the void. Originally, he was still staring at the dragon Qingxia, who was dancing in the clouds and breaking the cocoon. At that moment, the golden pupil's killing intention appeared. Almost in that second, his body was strangely flashed. A cold light flew out of the air, and the épée split away. Clang clang. The attack of sneak attack is directly resisted. Nangang Yi is also in that moment. Body shape in a flash, long sword ling out, eyes deep cold stare at that mid-air, a pair of 5 people in black. Who are you? Just now they didn't feel anyone coming. Even they are not aware of it. It can be seen that the strength of these people is not simple. The 5 men in black who were flying in the air were all expressionless with cold eyes. Eyes from the beginning locked in the square, is breaking the cocoon of the cloud dance body. Our goal is not you. If you are wise, get out of the way. Otherwise, don't blame us for removing you. The middle-aged man in black, who was the leader, gave a cold glance at the dragon Qingxia. The man with white gauze, just a sword, no the strength 8 peak. In their eyes, it's not enough. However, the man who has just resisted their attack is the only one they can fear. Because with their current strength, they didn't feel the fluctuation of the man's strength. That can only show that the strength of that man is either the same as them or higher than them. Such a young boy can have such strength, how can people not fear it? When Long Qingxia heard the words, he suddenly drew a cold and bloodthirsty smile arc in the corner of his mouth. You don't need to get rid of us. I'll send you down first. Later I'll send your master to see you. In recent days he has been patient for a long time. Who are these people? Long Qingxia knows very well in his heart. Since the queen has already sent people to the door, he will vent well. Under the language falls, the whole aura of dragon Qingxia has changed greatly in an instant, and there is no hiding at all. The strong air belongs to the peak of the great warrior, just like the explosive thunder that is stretched to the limit, which can spin in an instant, hold the épée in hand, and jump up. Who the cold light flashed and the épée roared. The 5 men in black in the air were all surprised and alert when they felt the strength of the dragon. Samurai peak? The 5 men in black looked at each other. At the moment of dragon's evil attack, the tacit understanding was completely scattered. They are all big assassins, 5 to 1, absolutely more than enough. However, the target they want to kill this time is the man in the cocoon on the ground. Therefore, 5 people in the moment of separation. 3 people separated in 3 directions directly against the dragon. And the other 2, straight to the cloud on the ground. The corner of the dragon's eyes sweeps, and the golden pupil's rage flies by. All of them are looking for death. Under the roar, the strange black light of the épée in Long Qingxia's hand flits by, and falls in the void with the force of lightning. One of them, a man in black, suddenly, his body was directly split open. Plasma, like blood in the sky, exploded in everyone's eyes. And this scene all of a sudden shocked everyone. Including the 3 men in black who were besieging the dragon, they were all shocked. How is that possible? He can be separated from space looking at the next Shangguan. Is also a moment of consternation stare big eyes, Chinsum can't close. Although he knew that the strength of the Dragon 4 was stronger than that of him, he never knew that this powerful was not a little bit. Nanganji, if you let anyone touch her hair, I'll peel your skin. Long Qingxia's cold voice came from the air. Nangang Yi, who is holding a sword, looks at a man in black who is attacking. His eyes are cold. That white dough gauze under the handsome face also slightly raised a touch of cool color, light responsive voice. Rest assured. Without his warning, he would not stand by for her. The white clothes brush, the South Palace figure already quickly rise, straight to greet up. I don't know if I don't do it. I'll attack the fatal point of the man in black. The white shadow is like a mirage. Its ruthlessness and speed completely exceed the strength of the 8th level peak. Only 2 rounds later, the man in black began to brush a look of surprise in his disdainful eyes. How can you hide your strength all the time? Looking at Nangang Yi, the man in black is full of coldness and fierceness. Nangang Yi didn't answer him, But he was moving faster and faster. Because it's not far behind. Its cloud dance. Shangguan looked at the situation above and below. For a moment he didn't run away secretly. It's just that he can't get involved in this kind of battle. He also quietly stepped back a few steps. Also don't know he is intentional, or unintentional, or don't stand in front of the cloud dance. Inexplicably have a kind of protection posture. Small stink with red ling and small red snake. Nature is in the cloud around the two sides, full of vigilance staring at the war. The same canthus were full of tusks. It seemed that whoever dares to get close to them would kill them. For a while, the cloud dance, which was still in the cocoon, became the protection center of the whole battle. Comfortable hot flu spread throughout the blood. In fact, Yunwu was already in the mood at the time of cocoon crack, but she couldn't open her eyes and break the shackles of her body. However, she can clearly feel everything outside, even the fluctuation of a small particle of dust in the air. Including the 5 people in black quietly into the change, she can feel. It's powerful, it's weird. However, her whole body could not move at this time. And she could not make any sound. I can only feel the outside world quietly, the people who fight for her and protect her, the smell of blood. It's washing and dyeing this space. As for whose blood it was, it may have been impossible to tell when the battle became white hot. Even the Shangguan, when Nanganji was struggling, showed his beast-like claws and threw himself to help. However, this battle is just the beginning. Because she showed up. A concise but gorgeous dress, beautiful facial features, hot body. But how can not cover up the dark gloomy breath of the woman? Today's Queen Snow Willow. It turned out that I was hiding in the base of the beast gate. No wonder the breath would be covered up, which made me easy to find. Snow Willow Phoenix eyes, in a sea that the square, has been in the cocoon of the clouds, full of gloomy. In the gruesome soliloquy said the figure jumped in the air. Goal cloud dance. When the dragon Qing Xie's Pei cleaves down, and solves a big assassin again, he will face the Snow Willow with great speed. Did you ask me for permission before you tried to touch her? The dragon's evil body came in a flash. The purple light in Shuelyo's phoenix eyes flashed by, disdaining to hum coldly. Just because you want to do it with me. Hum hand a brush. A black flame quickly hit the past. As soon as Long Qingxia saw the black flame, his face changed and his figure flashed away. Fire of darkness? How could she use the fire of darkness? In the witch clan, the fire of darkness is included in the existence of forbidden fire, because as long as it is touched by the fire of darkness, everything can be swallowed up, and there is no vitality to speak of. Generally, the fire of darkness is not used until it has to be used. But this Snow Willow can use it freely. So the source of the fire of darkness was in her. Dragon Qing evil in determining this idea, but the bottom of my heart is a tight cloud dance. I saw that when the dragon fell away, the Snow Willow figure had turned to the position of cloud dance. Xiao Stinky and Hongling bared their teeth and ate it, so they rushed fiercely. But in Shuelyo's eyes, even if the 2 little monsters in front of her are extraordinary things, they are too small to threaten her. A cold glance, a wave, directly the 2 little guy to throw away. At the same time, the hands of the black flame directly hard into the cocoon inside. For the first time, let you escape. For the second time, I want you to have no bones. Looking at the big cocoon in front of her, Shuelyo's face finally raised a smile of complacency. Dragon Qing evil reaction. Face big change of moment. Extremely angry canthus ferocious. I want to kill you. Like the roar of fury, accompanied by a group of endless dark force, straight toward the Snow Willow. At that moment he seemed to be crazy Snow Willow in a feel that familiar but strange breath, a sign lung. Then, a touch of surprise passed in those beautiful eyes. The power of darkness? The power of darkness in him? However, looking at the attack, Shuelyo was not unprepared. With both hands turned up, the fire of darkness suddenly jumped up and closed, and the breath in the air suddenly became cold and hot, which made people feel cold. She also does not move, waiting for the dragon to pour evil to attack. On the other side, Nangong Yi, who is still entangled with the assassin, shrinks his eyes when he sees the flame in Xuelio's hands and shouts out, "Be careful." However, Nan Gongyi's cry was a step too late. When the dragon attacks, Xuelio disdains a cold hum. His eyes flashed purple, and a strange and strong breath was lifted in his body. The flame in his hand turned into a strange whip, and it went straight. Poof! A mouthful of blood gushed out, and the dragon's evil figure was instantly shot away. Every clown wants to be the enemy of this palace. The snow willow looks at the dragon that is hit to fly to poor evil, with that still resist of South Palace to keep up with the officer. Extremely disdain general. However, when she thought of solving the problem herself today, she felt proud again. In her eyes, the person who could awaken the power of witchcraft once or twice was her real problem. Now that she can solve her problem by herself, it's not in vain that she left the imperial city for an excuse and came here in person. But she was proud, but not enough for 3 seconds. Click. What's broken by the sound? It's like an eggshell, but it's not. But it was at that moment. A dazzling red accompanied by a wisp of black flame, from the cracked cocoon, suddenly shot out. In an instant, he suddenly bounced away Xuelio's body in the moment of light blooming. The red light is like the high temperature, as if it can instantly evaporate a person's terror. Snow Willow in stable body shadow, looking at the red-purple-black light under the big cocoon. From the beginning Zhenglong consternation, to the last can't believe. His face suddenly turned black and blue. How possible? The breath in the air is not like the feeling of being devoured by her dark fire. It's a breath of vitality that can regenerate everything. Like warm flowers in the twinkling of an eye, the black flame around the periphery of the light seemed to evaporate instantly, and it seemed to be swallowed by the red and purple light. Disappeared without a trace. The snow willow pupil mouth suddenly shrinks. The heart is ruthless a draw. No way. It can't be like this. Boom. There was an extremely hot explosion. The light was shining. The earthquake was shaking, like a rock breaking the sky, and just under the dazzling light, a figure came out of the cocoon. Like a shadow. But not immediately to the snow willow hand, but straight after the road was snow willow that dark fire to fly to the dragon pour evil away. In a few seconds, the dazzling light finally faded. And also at that moment, all the people present are completely silly. Zheng looked at the woman falling from the air. With long black hair, elegant and flying, beautiful purple pupil, straight nose, small cherry mouth and white skin. What kind of beauty is that? I can't describe it, or I can't describe it with words at all. Every action is provocative, and can make people feel incomparably perfect. That snow willow is also a beauty, but at this time, compared with that woman, she turns pale. Shangguan was completely stupid at this time. He was staring at me without blinking. Who told him what's going on? Isn't Xiaowu a man? How did it burst out of that cocoon and turn from male to female? I'm still such an eye-catching Yunwu. Doesn't know the change of her appearance at this time. On the contrary, the man who was attacked by the fire of darkness made her anxious. After landing, Yunwu quickly reached out to his wrist, and was relieved to make sure that he only had a little internal injury and no injury. It seems that the fire of the snow willow is of little use to the man. I don't know whether this man is a monster or a big one. However, at this time, the man seemed to be happy to hold her. He pretended to be quite like her. All right, just let it go. Looking at the man on the body, Cloud Dance's helpless mouth. However, when her voice came out, it was as beautiful as a spring. This can make Cloud dance oneself all one lung. Long Qingxia hears the sound and looks at Yunwu's more beautiful face, but his eyebrows are wrinkled. This woman, originally easy to recruit some rotten peach blossom. Now this appearance, I'm afraid there will be time for him to cut rotten peach blossom in the future. At this time of Cloud dance, naturally don't know what men think at this time. After confirming that he is okay, the next thing is Xuelio. Snow Willow from the beginning. Canthus like staring at the clouds. When you see her face, almost want to eat her blood and drink her flesh. Because she felt it. The second power of witchcraft in her has awakened. She knew what it meant. She can't let her live. She can't. It seems that I underestimated you in the beginning. However, if the palace went out in person, there is no reason for you to leave alive. Snow Willow, that gloomy voice finished saying, hand a turn, if carve exquisite, but similar to the weapon of the big knife, suddenly vacate and come out. When she saw the weapon in her hand, Yunwoo could not help but eyebrow a pick. What a powerful weapon! However, I don't know why, at the first sight of the sword, Yunwoo likes it inexplicably from the bottom of his heart, and there is a feeling of ready to move in his blood. Little thing, don't underestimate that weapon. If you're not wrong, it should belong to the ancient weapon. Be careful. Dragon Qing Evil whispered with Cloud Dance said. The weapon of Guwu? Yunwoo can't help but look at the sword in Shuelyo's hand. On the handle and back of the sword, there are some ancient carved totems. It's just, how did totem make her feel so passionate? It seems that it should have belonged to her. Well, I like it. I'll take it. In any case, now she has a direct confrontation with her. And this battle is inevitable. Now that the war is over, kill it. Snow Willow down cruel words for a long time. Do not see the clouds to take care of half a sentence. Suddenly there is a kind of humiliated anger. Clenching his fists tightly, Wu even twisted his facial features. Okay, I'll take you on the road. Under the roar, the black flame leaped up and wrapped the dagger. It had a strange shape, and had already attacked the clouds at top speed. The blood in the cloud dance purple eye flits past. Low cold dynasty nearby man said a dodge. Long Qingxia never likes to hide behind women, especially those she likes. However, because it was her, he was willing to listen. Be careful. Concern falls a word. Tall figure already a sensitive jump. Go straight toward the direction of South Palace E. At the moment of Dragon's departure, Yunwoo's hands turned up, and the elements of fire and water jumped from her palm at the same time. Then, under the startled eyes of Snow Willow, his hands clasped instantaneously. With the integration of elements, it can condense into elemental animal body, which is aggressive, but its strength is greatly reduced by half. However, the fusion of different elements has never happened before. In other words, it's impossible. Two different elements will only repel each other. How can they be fused? But the cloud danced in front of me as soon as the Snow Willow fell. The black flame sword in his hand roared down. It's very fast. Cloud Dance hands still keep this clasp posture. However, in the moment of Snow Willow attack, but a tip on tiptoe, figure such as spring, jump in the air to avoid. Looking at the evasion of Cloud Dance, Shuelyo's eye killing is more arrogant. Regardless of the girl in front of her, her strength after the second awakening is not any, but she will definitely not be her opponent. Otherwise, they would not dodge like this. This idea in the heart of fall, Snow Willow heart bottom certainly. This next killer is more swift and fearless. Brush. The roaring sound of the sword is like the strong wind, which brings up bursts of shade. However, every time when she was about to dance with a machete, she always flashed by like the wind under her feet. Make Snow Willow. Every time brandish a knife, all exasperation rises. Shuelyo gritted her teeth. It seems that you don't want to fight me head on. Okay, I'll kill your friend first. See, in that Snow Willow that words fall, that originally dodged Cloud Dance, finally stopped. This makes Shuelyo sneer. The next second, in the hand of the sword, take advantage of this opportunity, suddenly toward the Cloud Dance. The cloud dances, the purple eyes spread, and the corner of the mouth also outlines a strange smile arc. The red and blue swords condensed in that moment. A knife and a sword contradicted each other at that moment. The roaring sound of the sword, like the river and the sea, pierced the sky. Two people's strength confrontation to a limit, abruptly separated. In the second of separation, an obscure power wave suddenly spread from the two people's central area. Long Qingxia, Nangong Yi and others quickly aroused the fighting spirit to cover the whole body, which resisted the spread of the power. On the other side, Xiaoqiu and Hongling fell into deep sleep as soon as Yunwoo came out of the cocoon. So there is no fluctuation in that force. Who are you? Where did it come from? Shuelyo looks at the clouds with an ugly face. At this time, the tiger's mouth of her palm was painful, all because of the reason that she combined with the power of Cloud Dance. Others may not know, but Shuelyo is very clear in her heart. Just now, She almost exerted all her strength in the middle period of whooshing. It didn't hurt her half. On the contrary, it was hurt by her strength. The strength of the girl in front of her can match her? This is the existence that makes her scared. This is the second awakening of the power of witchcraft, which can match her. If there is another one, then she at the thought of that possibility, Xiuelio's ugly face suddenly turned to fierce, and a strong murderous air emerged. Cloud Dance feel her body murderous, purple pupils slightly squint. It seems that the Snow Willow's intention to kill her is more serious. She can't be completely unaware of her physical changes. At this time, she seems to have just been transformed from the new, full of amazing strength. However, Yunwu felt that this kind of power was forced into the body to expand, not from self-cultivation. It would be precipitated after a short time. Therefore, if we want to fight, we must take advantage of this opportunity to solve the problem quickly. Don't you know who I am? Cloud Dance coldly raises the corner of the mouth, does not answer the rhetorical question to her question. Well, in that case, I can't keep you. Snow Willow momentum also from just repressed, suddenly into the full burst. Hoo-hoo with the roar of the sword, the black flame came to the clouds and danced away. Yunwu stands on tiptoe and retreats, but the sword in his hand, which is made of water and fire elements, is also flying across with a strange breath. Shusha. Like water, like fire, like cold, like hot power fluctuations, and the black flame meet, in the air mutual bite. But at the same time, Snow Willow's speed is extremely fast, skimming another direction, face to face the Cloud Dance hit. Cloud Dance pupil Mawa am I, body already instinct of a dodge. I saw, in the position where she dodged, the moment she was attacked by the black light, the ground was corroded and split into a huge gap. You are so fond of running, then I want you to have nowhere to run. Dark angry Jiao drink, a black flame, like early preparation, brush fast to the cloud in front of. The cloud dances to see this, the purple eye sinks. Hiding? It's too late. On Xiuelio's cruel face, she finally raised a smile again. Surround explode. I saw that under the soft voice, the black flame suddenly rose and opened like a curtain of fire, like a self-consciousness, and wrapped up the whole person in an instant. The next second the flame burst. Boom. The strong and surging explosion sounds like thunder in the sky, and the powerful explosion energy also suddenly spread and open. Yunwu was surrounded by the black flame, and then exploded. In this case, there might be no residue left. Well, it's too young to fight with this palace. Xiuelio coldly looked at the location of the explosion and sneered. The three men in black on the ground, seeing the terrible power of the master, cast a more respectful look at Xiuelio. However, but in the next second, Snow Willow and those people in black suddenly stare big eyes. After the black smoke of the black flame explosion subsided, I thought I would see a burnt corpse or burnt ash. After all, it's the fire of darkness. Anything touched by it will be burned clean. The forbidden fire in the witch clan, however, when the smoke disappeared, the position, the figure, but still intact standing there. Not even a shirt is missing. The only difference is that she is wrapped in a red light. On the other side of her body was a round and cute little fellow with scarlet eyes. He was protecting her with his red wings. As the phoenix power, red fire, extremely dazzling. Snow Willow pupil a shrink phoenix call? She's a summoner? This scene also surprised the people in black, even the Shangguan. What's going on? The little monster, who is neither human nor beast, is actually a phoenix? I saw that the next situation, but also let the audience some surprise. Because in addition to the amazing posture of Cloud Dance, there is also a big red flower, just like the soaring vine, which surrounded the whole square at some time. It is as small as silk root, covering the ground of the whole square. There is a kind of ground network formation posture. Master, how are you doing? These people bully you. I'll kill them for you. Hongling was originally a young voice. At this time, it became a young voice. Bloodthirsty. The surface of the little stink around Yunwu doesn't change much. The only change is that its red fur wings turn into a huge flame. Its eyes are scarlet and fierce, and its tusks twinkle. Let the original lovely silly become extremely vicious terror. Mama, don't be afraid. With me, I'll let all the bad guys die. Angry voice, is that heavying creeps? Cloud Dance looks at in front of us. This is a cute little guy. The constant connection between the bottom of her heart and them made her feel the anger they worried about her. These little guys. Good. Then follow me and fight the bad guys together. Cloud Dance haha smile way. Xiuelio looked at them, and her sense of crisis soared. The moment of the black flame rising, buckle. In a moment, a strange black python. In a moment, from the flame condensation vacated. As soon as the python came out, the gloomy atmosphere in the air was turbulent, showing a strong force. Hiss. Go kill her for me. Snow Willow's eyes stare at the clouds. I saw that the python is also a moment, as if by the independent consciousness, suddenly fierce stare to the cloud. At the next moment, the boa constrictor rose and flew straight to the clouds. The cloud dances, and the purple eyes are cold. Even though they have all reached this point, it's better not to do it twice. While the power is still there, we should join hands with these two little guys to wipe out the biggest enemy in front of us. Cloud Dance didn't condense elements into beasts, but clasped hands and raised a roaring sword. In a flash of cold light, the sword takes off for a moment, and the cloud dancing figure goes up at top speed. However, it dropped a sentence. Stink Hongling, what are you doing? Let go of your stomach and eat appetizers. As soon as the two little guys heard it, they were excited and their molars roared. Snow Willow see this, but young mouth sneer. A bunch of clowns. Although surprised Cloud Dance can compete with her strength, and she is a summoner. But that's all. She can uproot the whole sorcery. This is just the second time to awaken the power of sorcery. How can she really not be able to kill her? What's more, she didn't pay attention to the weak and ugly things around her. However, her self-confidence, but very stiff in the face. The ferocious black python just jumped on it, was directly split by a sword-like edge. Hiss! The boa constrictor's painful roar pierces the air. Instantly, the solidified body disappears and returns to the black flame. But before the flame disappeared, I was taken off by the little stink. When he opened his mouth, the black flame poured into his small mouth like a huge stream. Gudong. One straight down. After swallowing, the little stink didn't do any damage. On the contrary, the wings of the flame behind him seemed to be a little more silvery black, but the temperature was higher, just like a tonic. Any more? Not enough to eat. Small Stink licked his lips, a pair of not enough teeth. And Hongling, without saying anything, rushed to the man in black who had the top strength of the remaining three assassins. For it, this kind of powerful enemy can really make up for it. The smile on Yunwu's face deepened a little. How possible? Xiuelio looked at his dark fire in amazement, and was swallowed alive. It seemed that the whole person was not very good. It's impossible. Before, this little monster was so weak that it could be killed with a clap. How come in a flash, however, the summoner and the contract beast are connected? Once the master's strength is promoted, or the contract beast evolves, the other side can be promoted. This is one of the reasons why the summoner is against heaven. The expansion of Yunwu's power is naturally associated with her contract beast. No way. In your eyes, I'm afraid nothing in the world makes you feel impossible, right? Queen Cloud Dance sneered. Xiuelio opened her eyes in amazement and stared at her. Do you know I'm the queen? Who the hell are you? Since she became the queen, she seldom went out of the palace, and few people knew her. What's more, she never met the girl in front of her. Otherwise, she will not let her grow up to the present situation. Who am I? I'm afraid the queen is not qualified to know this, but I'd like to give you a ride. The cloud dances coldly and laughs, but the body suddenly breaks. The snow willow is fierce and fierce. Schwa. Xiuelio's eyes widened again, surprised see, cloud dance in the body shape of a flash out of time, so bare-handed in the air to intercept the sharp knife. Blood. Into the big knife. The ancient totem on the dagger, shining like a flash of strange purple light, instantly shrouded the whole sky. Time has stopped. Everything in the world seems to be fixed at this moment. Only Cloud Dance can clearly feel all the changes under the purple light. Cloud Dance quietly looked at the sword in his hand, and felt the roaring sound of the sword. It's like calling her. Originally, the palm of the hand cut by the big knife healed gradually under the purple light. It seems that it is healing for her. In fact, she was gambling. When she saw the big knife at the first sight, she felt inexplicable love for it, so she was ready to do it. It seems that she really guessed right. This big knife belongs to her. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.